What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? It's a Nice Guy Andy podcast. This is Thursday night, and you know what we do? We watch wrestling. We talk to wrestlers. We go live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. And tonight we got special guests in the house. The Diamond Cartel is in the house. We got Austin Diamond and Scott Diamond in the house. So there's a little delay on the TV up there. So and we have Sean Johns and
hello guys,
Johnny Lee in the house too. So
hello,
guys. I'm gonna do some work on my phone. You guys talk about the sponsors.
All right. One of our sponsors are Collar Elbow brand. Use code Andy10 at checkout. Receive 10% off your full order. That's Andy10 at checkout at collarxelbow.com. Johnny?
And for all your great details on this fine championship right here, you could get a custom championship of your very own. You hit up my man from Pakistan, the man from Pakistan, that is, Muhammad Jafar. He can get you a great deal on championships like this, custom made, custom wears. You want a championship like that? Look no further than to hit him up on Facebook. That's right, Muhammad Jafar, the man that made sure Andy had a precious championship like this, made this championship right here, and that fine little beauty over there, the blue belt. Hit him up. And also, New South Wrestling's Anthony Presley still has autographs from Barry Windham, Chelsea Green, and real one, formerly known as Enzo Amore. You can get that for $25, and you get Chelsea Green's signed magazine for just $40, a price you cannot beat.
And for all your internet gaming needs, Royal Lex on Facebook. Give them a message or give them a call at 859-684-9176. I can't remember. I can't believe I remembered that. And tell them the Nice Guy Andy podcast sent you, and they'll give you $5 in free play. And later on that night, starting at 10 p.m., Royal Dark for all your late night gaming needs. They stay up until 4 a.m. in the morning for you. Just give them a message. Tell them Nice Guy Andy podcast sent you. And Johnny, tell them about the Nice Guy Andy podcast awards.
Oh yeah, as all y'all know, since today there is a poll going on. You go to surveyplanet.com. You can now vote for the Nice Guy Andy Podcast Awards. We got many categories. Y'all can vote right now, and voting will take place from today until November 29th. And if you contribute to this, I'm telling y'all guys, whoever wins these awards is going to get something like that right there. Our little...
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
If we can get them.
If we can get them. But if y'all vote, I'm telling y'all, at the end of this year, the awards will be handed out.
So we're going to have a special show. We're going to show the clips of the Nice Guy Andy podcast for the last couple years at least, I think. And we're going to give out some awards for some categories that Leon Lexington, the executive producer of the show, has came up with. He's not usually on the podcast, but he's on some of the pay-per-view shows. And he's going to come up with he's already came up with some categories, and we're going to figure out how a prize to give people, like a little award, and we're going to go from there. So
it just so happens that these two right here are on a couple of those awards.
Is that right? They're nominated.
They're
nominees.
They're nominated.
So, guys, get on the Facebook page, and it's pinned to the top. Nice Guy Andy podcast page, and you can vote for your following categories. And vote. I think can you vote as much as you want, or just vote once?
I think it's once a day.
Once a day. I think you get to vote once a day. So anyway, let's get on with the show. We got Scott Diamond and Austin Diamond in the house. What's up, Mr. Scott Diamond?
You know, anytime Scott Diamond can grace your presence, you know your day has just picked up. So everything's good with Scott Diamond.
Heck yeah, Austin, how you doing, buddy?
I see you saved the best for last. You know, I gotta say, I'm here, and fear not, because the pleasure is all yours.
Of course.
I have made my generous return. You know, here I am. I'm a generous guy, fresh off my birthday, and I decided what to do. You know, millions of women blowing up my phone, absolutely just rummaging through women in droves of the thousands. And what did I decide to do? Again, I'm a charitable guy, so I came out here and decided to spend the night with my favorite Make-A-Wish kid, Sean Johns. How you doing?
Oh, ouch. I had that one coming, buddy. I'm doing good, Austin.
That's a shame.
Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, so I think Johnny Lee has a birthday present for you.
I do.
Oh,
He already
Go get it.
Yeah,
It's for you, my man.
and grab him that pizza if he wants.
Oh, he wants that.
I don't know if
I'll eat
I.
it, by God. Don't play with me. Austin Diamond is a nasty guy.
Bobby Blade, Kia Marie,
Uh-oh.
and 2 other people. It won't tell me who they are.
Bobby
Thanks for
Blade.
watching. Kia Marie said, "Break your leg, Austin." Ouch.
I appreciate that
And
greatly.
this right here is
Well, you
for
know
you as
what?
well.
Yeah, Enzo ordered that, but he
They're not
didn't.
getting sponsorship through Austin Diamond.
That's right.
That's
But I'll
right.
hold that there for safekeeping. Thank you
That's
very
right.
much, Johnny. I
You're
appreciate you
welcome.
greatly. I have nothing but love for you. You know, I'm glad that we've got a great host, somebody like yourself that can carry the load of what he cannot. And then Sean's even here. To a lesser
Oh,
extent.
ouch. Why the hate? What the hell?
Hey, I'm being very friendly. to you.
Joe Monroe, gentlemen, how you doing? He says, gentlemen. That's what he says.
How you doing, Joe Monroe? Joe Monroe's been sending us quite a bit of stars, Joe. And by the way, guys, in the second hour, around 9 o'clock, we will be taking calls for Austin Diamond and Scott Diamond if they want to take some calls. But you guys, if y'all send in stars, you will be able to talk to Austin Diamond and Scott Diamond and ask them a question.
That's right.
You know, don't ask them nothing stupid, you know, but let's get these stars rolling in here, and it helps the podcast. Go to the podcast page and go to the Andrew Watkins page and follow and like us. It helps the podcast. We are monetized from Facebook, so all your likes and comments and content and stuff helps out the podcast big time. So
Maddie Fox, hey.
Hey, Matty.
She's one of our regular fans.
So Austin, tell us about you've been wrestling over in Virginia, right?
That's absolutely correct. You know, just like my big brother, Adrian Alexander, one of the best.
Is that mic on?
That sure sounds like it's on.
Tap on it a little bit. Okay, yeah,
Like
just bring it a
console.
little closer to you or something, because
Yeah, sound of some of this.
You like
Yeah, I had
this
a
better?
no, you
There
don't
we
have to
go.
pick it up like that. But we've had a problem with we had a good mic go down earlier, so
So you
That's
knew
a-
Austin Diamond was coming, and you left me with faulty.
well that's
equipment.
no, that's not a faulty equipment. That's a nice mic, but I just had to switch it out at the last moment.
Don't let it happen twice.
I know, right?
Otherwise, he might
I
take
don't.
that cane.
I had nothing to do with that, Austin.
Sean, I see the way you're looking at me. I don't appreciate it.
I'm looking at the TV, sir.
Now, if I get interrupted one more time, we're all gonna have a problem. Andy, answer your question one more time.
Okay, so you're undefeated, and you haven't wrestled in Kentucky yet, but officially, what they don't know don't hurt them. But let's. So you, how many matches have you had so far?
Naturally, I have had 2 matches. Pure evil, mean, and nasty. Clean cut and classy. How you doing?
That's right.
And, you know, I gotta say, Bryce Phipps, he had more in him than I would have ever expected, but he just couldn't get the job done. You know, he couldn't cut it. And that's why I made sure that everybody knew it, whether it was himself, the referee, those inbred hicks in West Virginia, including, but not limited to, his horrendous family and his ugly girlfriend. You know, and I went back and I fought none other. Okay, fought might be a stretch. I embarrassed none other than their heavyweight champion, Jimmy Ray. Rock and roll, Jimmy Ray. That's right. Midlife crisis, Jimmy Ray. Well, you know what? I had him scouted. I knew what he was about. He went to the top and he thought he was somebody. But it's just a shame it was very windy that night because about 400 people saw that man accidentally slip through no interference at sheer fault of his own. And the next thing you knew, he was getting a vertical suplex off the turnbuckles.
Oh wow, okay.
Wow.
I gotta say, I have a grievance with that ugly gentleman, if I could use that term so loosely. He had the audacity to lay his hands on my father, not active competitor Scott Diamond.
Oh.
This man is a manager. He was not a part of the match. And Jimmy Ray had the audacity to lay his hands on my father, and I don't appreciate it. So Jimmy Ray, I know you're listening, So from whatever rock
How dare you,
living
Jimmy
under-
Ray? How dare you, Jimmy Ray?
From whatever rock you are living under, I want you to understand this. Coming from somebody who matters to you, you are lucky that I let you walk away that night because it won't happen twice.
That's right. Okay, Bobby
Exactly.
Blaze said evil, mean, and nasty, and just a little bit gassy. I guess Bobby's talking about himself there.
Oh wow. Okay.
Bobby's got gas.
Yeah.
Anthony Presley's watching. Mike Murphy.
Anthony Presley.
Leon Lexington kind of put the
Leon.
link on the thing. Kirkpatrick said, "Good evening, guys." Royal Aaron said, hello, you guys." Hold on. Royal Aaron sent 200 stars. Maddie sent 50. Maddie, you cheapskate. And I love you, Maddie.
We can have you call in if you want.
So
Jeff,
far, no
Jeff
place.
Burge is watching. Kia Marie said she responded to Bobby's comment, evil, mean, and nasty, and just a little bit gassy. She goes, "It's like you know him." Michael McKinney is watching. Nancy Roberts is watching. Nancy said, "Hi, Austin and Scott."
Sean, before you go any
Yes,
further,
sir.
you know, there's very few people in life that I like. Sometimes I don't even like myself. But Nancy Roberts, she is one of a kind. She'll always be the star on the top of the tree of the Diamond household. We love you, Nancy. Hope to see you really soon.
Heck yeah. Look at us up on the screen. We look good, don't we?
And,
nice.
Anthony Presley sent 200 stars.
Uh-oh, Anthony.
Thank you, Anthony.
We'll get you to call in, Anthony, a little bit later. Or, boss, you can call in anytime.
Leon says, "I'll be calling in later when he gets off work."
Okay.
I just want to put it out there for those people who are going to be calling in later. There's two things that's going to have to happen here. I want about $20 a phone call, and I don't want any stupid questions. If I don't get $20 a phone call, I will stop taking phone calls.
Oh,
and if I
snap.
get a stupid question, I will be to your house about 3 a.m. this morning,
Uh-oh, wow.
and you won't like it.
And
Oh,
for
my
all
God.
the women watching, I want to make this very clear right now. You will not get my phone number. You will not get his phone number. I guess you could probably get Andy's.
Yeah.
But for
All the
your
ladies
sake-
got my phone number anyway.
I wouldn't recommend going after Sean. Ladies, don't be that desperate. Do better.
Wow.
Wait,
Hold on now.
Hey, my time. I'm not
Sean-
holding on to anything.
Sean's single.
John, yeah. And Johnny Lee's been getting quite a few dates lately because of the podcast, so you know
I
he's
just wish he'd save some women for us.
he's quite the ladies
Nancy
man with
says,
that
"Thanks,
jacket
Scott.
on."
Love you too." Nancy says that to you.
Johnny Lee, there is no reason that he shouldn't be dragging in 40, 50 women a night. After I sent him to the Diamond Tailor, look at this man. He's running around custom made from his hat to his toes. You know, he's taking Scott Diamond and Austin Diamond's advice. You know, he's got a hanky in his pocket that matches his socks. Johnny Lee is on a road to nothing but the greatest things, although he is in the tail end of the Diamond Cosmic meteor. He still is getting our leftovers. And again, that's 40, 50 a night. And it's because he jumped on the trail of Scott Diamond, Austin Diamond, and he went to our tailor. And now he's looking just like we do. Better than anybody.
Exactly.
That's right.
Getting our leftovers just the way he likes it. And like you said, custom made from head to toe. And you know, he's a smart guy. He really is. He's even a nice guy. I said the thing just for you.
He said the thing.
But he's very respectful, and it's a good thing because otherwise I might have to leave with that hat.
Yeah,
That's true.
Snap.
that hat is
It's
nice.
a great hat. Jim Cat.
Leon Lexington says, "I've had a stupid question simmering in the pot for weeks, so you may need to save that stupid question for next week, Leon."
Leon, I have your address.
Leon is, executive producer of the podcast.
Maddie
He's
says,
behind
"Team
the scenes a lot.
single." Kia's like, "Y'all are definitely shining like diamonds."
Oh yeah, we got to get dressed up for the Diamond Cartel when they come
Right.
in. We had the carpet steamed and cleaned, and we had the tables all disinfected, and the Nice Guy Andy podcast belts all shined up. We even got some nice bourbon in there. Got some Wellards in there for anybody who wants a shot afterwards.
Sean,
Yes, sir.
I'll take bourbon on the rocks with a water back. Hurry back.
Alrighty.
Don't make him tell you twice. Why are you still sitting here, Sean?
I'm getting.
You disgust me.
chop. Unless you want to get Johnny to make it.
What's
I know
wrong? With,
you-
oh God.
Speed Gonzalez.
Do we have any? We have. We only have those aluminum cups, I think. We might have some glass cups in there.
With God as my witness, I will take that crutch behind me and beat him to death with it right here. That's right. With him as the witness, I will beat him to death with that crutch.
Bring it on.
That's exactly right. He looked over to the God. I am a wrestling God. And Sean, let me tell you, I've known you since you was, can we say shitting green on this
Oh, you can
program?
say anything you want.
Yes, you
you
can.
can say what anything you want.
Sean, I have known you since you were shitting green, buddy, and so don't make no mistakes now. You've lived this long.
We can say anything we want on the podcast. You
And
know,
you should know Austin Diamond is undefeated. Ain't nobody gonna stop Austin Diamond.
You're looking right there at Johnny Lee. And again, as Austin, I'm just going to reiterate what Austin said here, Andy. Johnny Lee is probably, next to Austin and myself, the smartest guy on this entire block.
okay.
And here he is talking about Austin Diamond, and he knows what he's talking about. He is the sharpest thing in the drawer. He is hotter than white heat, and he does have more women than people have puppies and fruitcake on Christmas. He's got them all year long, just like that.
It's like this. Go sit around campfires telling stories about Austin Diamond. Freddy Krueger stays up at night because he's worried that he'll run into Austin Diamond. By God, the boogeyman, that's right, by you, checks his closet for Austin Diamond at night. And you know, it's like this. I am truly the best of the best. I am the best of the best. And people will learn and take note or fall back like all the rest. And that's just the fact of life. Andy, what are your thoughts? I see the
So, yeah, talking about the best of the best, and you're in that category. We had Adrian Alexander in here last night, and he announced that he announced his new wrestling promotion, which is Elite Wrestling Alliance. What do you guys think about that?
So let's give everybody a history test. Years ago, Scott Diamond's been all over this country. Hell, I've been all over the world in some parts of Georgia. Years ago, Scott Diamond had a wrestling company, and it ran out of Indiana. Andy, Sean, even Johnny, folks out there,
I have no
thank
clue
you,
how to
young
make
man.
it rain.
Thank you. That's okay.
You
I'll
want
take
water?
it straight up.
Sean, sit down.
But for everyone
He's a minor.
that remembers,
Said, would you like a
camera right
water?
Go get me a water.
Sean,
That's what I do, buddy.
you guys keep interrupting me. Things are going to turn ugly here real
Uh-oh.
quick.
Well,
Don't-
of course they're going to turn Sean.
Oh, hey.
Years ago, Scott Diamond had a company, and Andy, I'm going to go to you. Can you even just take a wild guess about what maybe the company name was?
Well, I mean, we talked intensively the other day, so I actually know what the name was because you told me. So
Now-
it was Elite Wrestling Alliance.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I give it to you, Andy. You do your homework.
I do my homework.
You certainly do, and I respect that. I
Yeah.
really do, because I'm a guy that does my homework.
Yes.
And so, with that being said, I cannot think of a greater way for a young man to jump out there and pay homage to a guy who brought him into this business. So, Elite Wrestling Alliance was the name of Scott Diamond's old company, and I could not be happier for Adrian Alexander bringing on his company, Elite Wrestling Alliance.
Okay.
And also, I want to say, Adrian, double A, love him to death. The kid is, again,
He's a damn star.
he is a superstar,
Superstar.
and he is going to go to the moon and back and then some. So this Elite Wrestling Alliance that's coming up, I'll tell you, folks that want to see white heat, wait till that happens, because that's exactly what it's
Oh,
going
we
to be.
can't wait. We can't wait till it happens.
This young man has been under the learning tree of not only Scott Diamond, he's been under the learning tree of everybody that he's ever passed and that had some knowledge. He picked that knowledge from their brain. And when Elite Wrestling Alliance comes together, when it comes together, it's going to be something that was even better. That's right, I'm saying this. It's going to be even better than when Scott Diamond ran Elite Wrestling Alliance, because this young man is going to take it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot be more happier for him, with him, and about him.
Well, he gives you a lot of credit because you earned it, but he says he's learned just about everything he knows from you, even how to dress. So he was sharp as anything in here last night. He was looking really good. Me and Johnny try to look as good as him, but you know that guy is a superstar. He's got the look, he's got the name, he's got the promotion. He's got you behind him. He's got Austin behind him. It's just the moon for him. It's just the moon for him, and past that. So you know,
It really is.
Speaking of new promotions, not really a new promotion. I guess we're kind of a new promotion. New South Wrestling has got them a new place down in Lawrenceburg. They're going to start doing new weekly shows on Sunday nights starting in November, and it's going to be Upstart, New South Upstart. And what do you think about that? Are you going to be involved in that? Austin, Anthony Presley is probably going to call here in a little bit.
Speaking of which, he's going to be at FTC this weekend in Ashland, Kentucky, Saturday to support Dave Harmon, Misery, Danny Moe, Facade, Dustin Jackson, and Jerry the King Lawler.
Anthony Presley is?
Yes.
Anthony Presley, New South, local talent and upstart program. All three of those things, in my opinion, are the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Anthony Presley and I have known each other for a long time. We speak often. He is
great guy, super guy.
He's a great guy. He is a guy that if I was in a back alley and it was midnight and you couldn't see nothing but two guys coming at you with a stick, he's the kind of guy I'd want beside me.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
So when it comes to business, I'm really I can't even think of an adjective that would describe how I feel when a man like Anthony Presley calls Scott Diamond and says, hey, what do you think about this? For him to ask my advice and even to come in and put me a part of the fold of New South.
We feel the same way.
Great privilege.
Yeah.
Great privilege. Now, of course, I do feel, and I'm not going to toot my own horn too much, I'm just going to state fact. Scott Diamond's got a lot of knowledge, and he does a lot of good, or can do a lot of good, for wrestling companies, so forth and so on. I've ran many companies in my time, booked many, many shows, and to have Anthony Presley and Scott Diamond standing side by side, it's unprecedented.
Oh, wow.
And so,
yeah.
yes, the Upstart program, that was something that Anthony and I spoke about, and the new building is another thing that we spoke about. And so what an honor when a man like Anthony Presley comes to you and says, you know what, there's three people that I talk to for advice, and Scott Diamond's one of them.
Oh, wow, okay.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes. One, it shows that Anthony Presley does his homework and he knows what he's talking about. He knows who to go to. And two, he's smart because he knows to come to a guy like Scott Diamond that could give him just about anything that he wants. And so this is going to be a big, big program. Anthony has one heck of a staff over there. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Bass and also to Tiny. They do great things over there. And again, Anthony has surrounded himself with the cream of the crop. So this is kind of like the Knights of the Round, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
Anthony is making it happen, and we're going to go in. This will be a collaboration with a few of us, and it is going to be one of the hottest things that Kentucky has ever seen. We're going to be running on a regular basis, and we're talking about going every week.
Yeah, he called me the same night when he got the place and asked me to ask the podcast to be involved too. And I'm so I was so happy that he even thinks about calling me, because this guy is so busy, he's so top of the notch. He owns this the New South Wrestling Company, which is the fastest growing wrestling company in this part of the country, I guess. But
certainly,
and he calls me and tells me things, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you very much for including us, and we're going to be a big part of that down there in Lawrenceburg too. So I'm looking forward to working with you and Austin and Anthony and everybody that's involved in that.
As I do this often, as I was watching the Nice Guy Andy podcast last night, I seen that it had been mentioned that you were going to do some things with New South and your podcast.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you, I think that's a great thing. Again, I just shoot straight from the hip, and if it's trash, I'll tell them it's trash. But if it's not, I say that as well, because I think there's so many people to get out here, and they will tell you when shit's screwed up, but not enough do people come and tell you, hey, you're doing a damn good thing. So I want to say, you're doing a damn good thing.
Well, thank you.
Anthony Presley bringing you into New South, that is a good thing, and I'll tell you why. Scott Diamond's been around a long, long time. Anything that's been done, I've done it when it comes to wrestling. Having podcast people in there, having special a special announce group, if you will. I want to give a shout out to Back Row Hecklers. I've worked with them many, many years, and they do a great job. And so when I think about people like them and Andy's podcast, there's things that really helps get the stuff out there to people, and that is one. Media is so important.
Yeah.
It's so important. And so when you have someone, like Nice Guy Andy podcast or the Back Row Hecklers coming in, that is nothing but a great thing.
Yes.
Because, again, any avenue that we can use to get out professional wrestling, which that is what we love. So any avenue we can use to get that out, that's awesome. And for you guys coming in over here to New South, I've got some great ideas, and I know we can make it work. I've seen it work in the past. I've been a part of a lot of things like that work, and I think you guys are going to be a very important
I think this whole scene,
piece of the puzzle.
This whole Kentucky scene is going to blow up with Anthony's promotion, and then you got the guys down in Cynthiana. You got the guys. You got Adrian with his new promotion. I think this is going to blow up huge, and we got us to help you guys. And we know our spot. We're not going to come to the shows and try to be superstars or try to be in. We're just going to be behind the scenes doing the announcement and not really doing the announcement, but whatever Anthony asks us to do. We haven't planned that out yet, but we're definitely going to do this show, and we're going to put out all the information for that show and Adrian's show and the guys down in Cynthiana and everybody around that wants to be part of the Nice Guy Andy podcast and everybody that wants to work together. We're going to all help each other get this whole area just booming, and we want Kentucky known as the place to come and watch indie wrestling.
That's right. Fiji Wildman says, Mr. Diamond, we have unfortunately unfinished business and some missing cash you owe.
I'm not a hard guy to find. All he's got to do is look around the corner because I'll be standing behind him.
That's right.
If you got a problem with me, come see me. Because after you come see me, you won't have any problems anymore.
You heard it, Fiji Wildman. And then we got the David, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name.
Okay, that's Siggy. I don't even have to hear it. I can tell you right now, because if you're looking at a last name and you can't pronounce it, it's got to be Siggy.
He was the referee from KUPW who looked.
He was.
The bald-headed guy, yes.
He's a young man that he was working in another organization, and he came in and he asked for an opportunity to be with Scott Diamond. And as soon as I got all that other garbage out of his head that last promotion put in there, because they didn't know what they were doing. And, we're creatures of habit. A lot of you may not know, but, Scott Diamond has a psychology and sociology degree. And when I break things down, that's the hardest thing. We're creatures of habit. And if you learn how to do stuff the wrong way, you're going to continue to do it the wrong way. So I have to take people like Siggy, bring them in after they've already been in another company and got all this garbage in their head. I have to bring them in, erase all of that stuff, and then build them back up just like you would a good Marine. And, he's come a long ways. He's still got a road to travel, but he's come a long ways, a lot better than when he started. And Siggy, stick around because business is fixing to pick up, brother.
That's right. And then Bobby Wrestles says, hey, Bobby Wrestles, thank you, brother.
Bobby Wrestles is out of Philadelphia. He has got a big podcast on YouTube, and he is a fan of ours, and we're a fan of his. And they're planning on coming down and having a trip down here and then experiencing some Kentucky wrestling. So
they really should.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. They promote us, we promote them. They support us, we support them. Even the guys over there's a new podcast called Dad World Order. Which is a wrestling podcast. They're on YouTube. Check those guys out. And another thing on YouTube to watch is Bobby Blade's YouTube channel. Watch his YouTube channel because Bobby Blade's got all the great old matches, and he's just doing it because that's what he loves to do. So, guys, we're going to eventually get him a Cash App so you guys can tip him on that.
That's right.
But I want to get you and Bobby Blade in here together at some point.
I don't know if you want that.
I want that.
I don't know if the
I'll tell
world
you
can
what,
handle that.
I want that.
You better tighten the roof down because,
we'll tighten it down. We'll do whatever we got to do to get it happen.
This building will look just like Eastern Kentucky did 3 months ago, and it'll look like Florida looks right now.
Right.
When you get Bobby Blade and Scott Diamond in the same room under the same roof, the roof is blowing off, bar none, brother.
Oh, we'll get it done.
We have put
I'd love to
many,
blow
many-
roofs off places.
Look, Bobby Blade got the best content on the best YouTube channel
Yes,
out
he
there,
does.
and he's also got the best handshake in wrestling. Bobby Blade, much love to you and your father, Ed. It won't be long. We'll be together again.
Awesome, man.
That's right.
That's what I like to hear.
And not only that, but there's also the chance to get him and Bobby Blade together
Oh.
in the same
Bobby
room.
Blade is
You better-
certainly approved by Diamond Enterprises.
Yes, he is. Kirkpatrick said, and Siggy was trained by who? That's was
Kirkpatrick?
Kirkpatrick's answer. Joe Dirt. Sorry.
Gentlemen, how about
Kurt.
stealing?
Kurt Dirt.
I just want to say this. Kirk, take your ass back in there in the bathroom, get yourself a self-addressed stamped envelope, get you some scissors and cut that hair off because Billy Ray Cyrus called and he wants it back.
I like that.
True.
Kurt, send some stars and you can call in, buddy.
Speaking of stars,
Keep a
Joe Monroe sent another 1,000.
Oh,
Joe's
And then
Joe's awesome.
Laurel Aaron has said their match, the highest stars sent.
Okay, cool.
So
Well-
right now they're having to match the 1,000
1,000 stars. Okay.
and
By-
Joe Morello sent 1,000 star before.
So Royal Aaron is
This
one of
makes
our
the third
sponsors.
time.
So
Yep.
Royal Aaron is Royal Lex on Facebook. Guys, go over there and check those guys out. Send them a message. Sign up. They'll give you $5 in free play on. Tell them the Nice Guy Andy podcast sent you.
Not only that, they're all tuned in because Diamond Cartel's inside this.
Oh
thing.
wow, yeah! Like
You know
every
they
time.
had to-
The numbers are out of the roof right now. Every time I have you guys in here, that's why I always have to get you guys back in here because I've been on. Johnny's been helping me book the show, and I'm just telling this guy, man. When I brung him in, he came in. I didn't know anything about him. Just thought he was I thought he was Sean's dumb cousin, but
Oh, so in other words,
he comes
Sean's
in.
cousin.
He comes in. And he just
Don't
like
donate.
he comes in and shows up, and he shows up every time. He's anytime I message him, he's there. He shows up. He's my right hand man.
Anthony Presley.
He does anything
Speaking
I
of the devil,
want. Well,
it's Anthony Presley.
the boss is calling. We got to answer.
Yep, he's called.
Mr. Presley, how you doing? You're on the Nice Guy Andy podcast with Austin Diamond and Scott Diamond. Oh, hold on a second. I forget to push the button. There you go. Go again.
I said, how you guys doing?
Doing good,
We're doing
sir.
good.
Shout out, Tony.
Good.
Good to hear from you, my friend.
Doing well. Good to hear from you, too. I just talked to you the other night, and we talked forever. So,
Hey, we
When
went.
two great minds get together, it's unstoppable. The
Yeah.
conversation,
Yeah, I know.
the air, you name it. When you get two guys like yourself and myself, it's unstoppable.
Tell us what's going on
Yeah,
with Tell us what's going on with New South Wrestling.
man, a lot of stuff since we've announced what we're doing. I've literally been just overwhelmed on the phone. I mean, this is no joke or no lie. We've had over 100 talent reach out to me and want to be a part of the New South Upstart program.
We'll make
So
that two.
they're
Sorry
all-
to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you, Tony.
No, you're fine.
But-
They're all sending me resumes and videos that I'm going through, and I don't think we're going to have a shortage of talent that wants to be on the show. So
Well, make that 200 because Scott Diamond's had about 102 at last count that reach out to me and said, hey, what's going on with this local upstart talent thing that New South is doing? I seen you post it. I seen you and Anthony Presley maybe working a little bit in collaboration. And so how do I get to be a part of this? So if you've gotten over 100, put that with the 102 that I've got, and that says New South. And Anthony Presley knows what the heck's going on because we've got people coming from all over the country wanting to be a part of this.
oh yeah, man, it's exciting. It's an exciting time right now, and we've just got Mingy Beef Jerky that came on board. We're really picking up a lot of steam. The people here in Lawrenceburg are super excited about it. Everywhere I go in town, people are so happy to hear that. And I don't think I've let a lot of people know this, but Scott Diamond knows the building very well that we're gonna be in, that I've signed the lease on. So it's the Hilltop in Lawrenceburg. It's where Wildcat Championship Wrestling was for about 8 years. So it has a history in wrestling. The building's set up for wrestling, and a lot of the old guys that used to wrestle there have reached out to me as well, and they're excited about it coming back. And I just think it's a perfect place. It's right in between Frankfort. It's right in between Lexington. It's a perfect place for people to come to, and not just wrestling. I mean, we're going to do wrestling as well. Like every week, we're going to have wrestling shows, but we're also going to do concerts and comedy shows, and we're going to do birthday parties where if people want to have a birthday party as a wrestling theme and have their kids come out to an entranceway and do the whole 9 yards, we're going to do that. We might even have a couple matches in the birthday parties. We're also going to do weddings, and I've got a pastor who said he'll wear a referee shirt, and if the bride and groom want to come do it as in the ring and get married in the ring, and if the bride wants to lay on the groom and pin him, the pastor said he'll get on the ground and pin them and count the pin, and just all kinds of things that we're going to do that's going to be exciting in and around entertainment in this. And the Upstart program, the great thing about the Upstart is what we want to do and what we want to accomplish there is there'll be some talent like that's on the New South show, but we also want to bring a lot of young talent in that is trying to get their name out there and trying to get seen and trying to get reps in the gym and in a ring, and we want to get them into a very professional atmosphere and give them an opportunity to work and in front of a nice crowd and try to make their way. And we're going to tape every one of those. The Upstart program will be on YouTube. Every match will be on YouTube. And then our monthly show that we do with the New South Wrestling, that'll still be on pay-per-view. And it'll be out on pay-per-view, but we're going to put the Upstart program on YouTube. So it's awesome, man. I mean, I think a lot of people in the state are really on a high right now and are really excited about what we're doing here.
Yeah, we're definitely very excited at the Nice Guy Andy podcast, and we're here to support you guys. And you called me the other night when you first got the place and told me, and I was really impressed that Anthony Presley's going to call me and tell me this information, and so we stuck it out there as soon as we could, and we look forward to coming down there and helping you guys out.
And Anthony Presley.
Well, I appreciate that, and
I want to say, there's this guy. His name is Ricky Wildley. He'd love to come work for your company. He lives in Louisiana. He's been on the All About Wrestling Now podcast now, and I told him about it, and he'd be open to actually come down there and working for you.
We'll
figure something out. I mean, we get people. We're getting people from everywhere contacted us, and I've got to go through them all. And there's a standard we're going to hold now. I mean, it's not just going to be anybody wrestling on this program, because they got to look the part, they got to spend money and on themselves and care about their character, and we're going to do it the right way. And we want to bring in talent that we can push to our main roster, and we'll have title belts for that Upstart program too. So there'll be champions there that'll work their way up, and you'll see some experienced talent too that's veterans that'll come on that show, because they will want to work those young kids. And I mean, to be honest with you, I've had 4 different schools in the state and around the state that their students have contacted me and wanted to work on that program.
And you're going to have a school too, right? You're going to have a school down there.
Yeah, we're going to start a school. The school will be, our head trainer will be Jordan Cage, who's our heavyweight champion, who's been around the business a long time. And he's going to take over the training for our school. And we're also going to have other people come in, because Sean Hoodrich said he wants to come in and help some, and we've had 2 or 3 other people from our main roster that wants to help. Yeah. So it's going to be a wealth of knowledge. We're going to do some seminars and stuff. Tatanka told me he would love to come in and do a seminar. So we're going to do some big stuff.
Tony, I think Scott wants to say something.
I just spoke to Sean yesterday as well, and he's very adamant about wanting to come in and work with New South and our Upstart program. Also, I had, as Tony was saying, I had some veterans contact me as well and say, hey, this is where I cut my teeth, and I would love to come down and be a part of this. Also, I want to put with that, 101 Hilltop. Write it down. Because if you don't write it down and you miss it, you're going to be mad at yourself. 101 Hilltop, Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Now, as Tony said,
Suite 1 and Suite 2.
Amen. That's right. We've got them both.
I'm sure we'll tell everybody 1,000 times.
Or at least.
You
Hey,
know,
Tony, I want to have your champ on the show as soon as you get a chance. Go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah, well, he's local. He's local there in Lexington, so we could probably get him on the show. That probably wouldn't be hard to do. He's a wealth of knowledge too. He's been around the business a long time, wrestled some of the best people in the world, and he's super excited about teaching. He loves to teach, so he has told me that he would accept that position. And I'll be there too. I'll be giving my knowledge as well. I've already had a bunch of potential students call me and want to already try to get signed up and everything. So I think it's going to go good, man. I think what we're planning on doing with this, it's kind of like the Upstart is kind of like AEW Dark. So we're giving people an opportunity to come on. Now the difference is with like AEW Dark, they bring in people, enhancement talent. These people that come on our show, everybody's going to have a chance to win and shine. So this is a whole different promotion inside of a promotion. And we just want to, what it's all about is for the fans. We want to give them great entertainment and great wrestling action, but we also want to help the young talent grow to reach their potential. And that's what our goal is with Scott Diamond's going to be a big part of what we're doing. And Scott, you was talking about me calling, the reason I called is because, I really think highly of you, as we've spoken before about. We're brothers, and I trust and believe in your, what you've done in your career and all the knowledge you have, and you're an asset to what we do. I mean, you went right in on commentary and done a wonderful job there. You do good on the, managing side, and then we are going to bring back the Diamond Exchange that you'll be doing, a talk segment. And you'll be a big part of that. And then you're going to be a big part in all the stories and different things like that as well. So, I'm not a fool. When I've got, people in the business who's had 20 plus years in the business and they've done things and they've seen a lot, I'm going to utilize that, and I'm one of those people that believes in partnerships, and the people who are my partners and who care about seeing this sport grow, just like Andy, and the whole NiceGuyAndy podcast crew, I'm going to always utilize that. And I'm always going to try to help them grow. I told Andy the first time I met him, I'm going to try to help your podcast grow.
You have.
That's my.
And we do appreciate you. And,
sir.
we Zodiac has our championship. So, we got a championship belt out there that I don't think that too many podcasts do have a championship belt out there that actually has a champion that is a fighting champion, and you legitimize the championship. So thank you very much.
And you know what's cool? What's really cool about that is that not only does that title get defended on our program and our show, but the way that Kentucky wrestling has pulled together, and they're allowing that title to be defended on multiple promotions. Actually, it's really like crazy. The Tate twins are defending our titles in multiple locations. They defended them at FTC. The X Division title that Facade has been defended up at FTC. So it's really cool how Kentucky wrestling, and Scott knows this as well as I do. Back in the day, 20 years ago, people would tear down posters. They would fight against each other. They would try to tear each other's promotion down. But it's pretty cool that I feel like I've had a big part in bringing Kentucky wrestling together. Because from the very onset, I told everybody, I'm not trying to run anybody out or anybody down. I want us all to move up together. And if there's something I can do to help anybody in any other promotion, I'm willing to do that because I want to see Kentucky grow.
It only makes sense for everybody to work together. It only makes sense. It doesn't make any sense to be shitting on anybody. It just doesn't. I don't understand the whole.
Well, it gives the talent more places to work. They feel like, because sometimes you would get talent that would get to feel like I'm afraid to go somewhere else because this place won't use me anymore if I do. And that's a crappy way to think, because, I mean, they're independent contractors and they need to be able to go. And to be honest, they're not going to, accomplish their dreams and make it where they want to make it if they don't go to multiple places. They got to go to multiple places, see different styles, and learn by doing it. And that's the only way you're going to make it where you want to make it. So I encourage my people, all of my stars, when they get an opportunity, take the opportunity. That's what happened with the Tate twins and why they got signed. Because I told them they were supposed to be on a show with us. And a week beforehand, they was like, I got to cancel. We got a shot with AEW, and we hate to do that. I said, do it. Don't even think about it. Go do the shot.
Yeah.
You're all in this to follow your dreams, and I want to see everybody on our roster make it and follow their dreams.
Hey, Tony Scott wants to say something.
If I may add just to what Tony's saying, first of all, thank you for all the kind words, Tony. The feeling is mutual. But Tony is so right, and this is something else that he and I spoke about. There's no substitute for experience, and you cannot get the experience that you need in one house. And again, as Tony said, I have the same philosophy, always have, always will. I encourage my people to go out and work at other places, because that way you can learn from other people. And if you stay in one place and you wrestle the same person night in, night out, you're never going to get better, because you have to wrestle somebody better than you or a little bit different than you to make yourself better. And again, you need that experience, and you're not going to get that experience staying at one house. So if you get out and about, you learn by working other people, other styles. Again, Tony's talking about how it was when we came in. Look, nobody told you, no booker, no promoter, nobody told you who you're going to wrestle that night. They didn't tell you anything till you got there, and they said, okay, you know what, Scott Diamond, you're wrestling Anthony Presley tonight. That's the way it is. And then you had to start cold from right there. That's the way it was in the old days.
Yeah.
And nowadays, these young cats, they have an advantage, because most of the people have their cards put together before the night of the show, which gives them a little bit of time to study their opponent. So these young cats now, they really got an advantage. But in order to take to take that advantage further, you've got to get out and get to other places to help hone your craft.
And there's so many. I mean, I keep finding new promotions every single day, and it's like, if you're in this wrestling business and you can't work, then you must not be good at all, because there's so many places, so many opportunities to work. And if you're not good at all, keep on practicing and practicing, because there's definitely a spot for you somewhere if you just keep on honing your skills and keep on doing your thing, because there's so many promotions. There's so many promotions to work at.
Well, and I, like I said, I don't understand how some of the talent thinks when they get so loyal to one place that they won't go anywhere. They just want to stay with that place, and they think they're going to do.
It's easy just to do one place. It's hard to travel.
Well, it is easy. It is easy, but they expect they're going to grow, and they're not going to grow. Because, as a prime example, when I started my career many, many years ago, back in 1996 in Glensboro, I started there. I worked there for about 2 years, and I stayed there every week. I was there every week, and I learned a lot, but I was stagnant, and I really didn't grow in my career. It was not until I bet on myself and left Glensboro and went to Danny Fargo and started traveling around with Danny Fargo and going to different towns that I got better. Then, after leaving Danny Fargo, I went on a 3-month tour with Handsome Jimmy Valiant, and I learned a whole bunch from Handsome Jimmy Valiant. Then I betted on myself a bigger bet and went to the NWA down south in Mississippi. And then I grew exponentially, because especially when you come from like up here in Kentucky and you go down to the real deep south, wrestling's totally different down there. It's like it was back in the 80s. Like everything is so old school, and you learn that aspect of it, and then you see those crowds that are still tore up and into everything you're doing, and it's just crazy. So I implore everybody, and I tried to bring Zodi will tell you this, and Tommy Gunn will tell you this, and I brought as many talent from Kentucky with me to Mississippi as I could. I got as many people booked because I believe it's our responsibility as stewards of the business that once we make it somewhere, that we reach back and try to help the next talent get there too. Now, what they do with it is it's on their own themselves. It's their business. But I think you should reach out and try to help. If you see a kid doing something wrong in the business, it's your obligation to go sit down and talk to that kid and tell him what he could do to help his career be better.
Yeah, because your opportunity may turn into that guy's opportunity, but then that guy's opportunity may turn into your opportunity and then he's going to remember that you helped him, and then now he's helping you. So, it's all a big circle, and it's all help each other.
Damn straight.
Well, that's like the Tate twins contacted me and said, we're so thankful and appreciative of what you've done for us and everything. And I told them, I said, guys, that's what this is all about. I'm blessed that I had a part in helping you reach your dreams. I mean, that's a wonderful thing that I could give. And what's the use in having all of the experience and all of that time in the ring and in the business if you don't share it and help the business continue to grow?
Exactly. That's why we have like people like you in here, people like Bobby Blade in here, people like Scott Diamond coming in here and we don't just have the new wrestlers come in here. We have the new guys coming in here. We have people like Zodiac coming in here that's kind of in the middle. And you got Scott Diamond that has all this knowledge. We try to make sure that every piece of wrestling knowledge can be. We're trying to put it out there, helping everybody.
Let me hit you with
Well, and
another
that's
piece of
another
trivia.
thing I've been getting.
No, go ahead,
that?
Tony. Go ahead.
I said I've been getting messages from the older talent that's retired that wrestled when I did, and they're all excited again. And like I told any of them, if anybody wants to have a part and get back in it to help the young people grow, I'm okay for that because all that knowledge, like Bobby Blade and Tommy Gunn and Bobby Green and Donnie Green and all those guys, Bear now still Bear wrote me the other day, and we still need to connect. But
Chucky Smooth,
all of those Chucky Smooth, all those guys, they have such a history in Kentucky wrestling that they need to be able to share that with people. And that's what I'm so happy and proud of the Nice Guy Andy podcast for bringing all those guys back onto the show and bringing them back to light and letting them tell their stories and letting the young crowd get to know those guys again. And
actually we're having Bear and Donnie Green on October the 20th. 19th, October the 19th. The air, Donnie Green and Bear Steele is going to be in the studio.
And we better have a lot of security because they say.
I might ask Zodiac to come and stand guard.
Two great guys right there.
I know, right?
Yes, they
A
are.
little trivia right here. Tony was talking about down south. A lot of people don't know, but Tony got his big break, although he started up here. He got his big break in Mississippi, as he was talking about.
Yeah.
The same deal with Scott Diamond. We started in South Carolina. So Tony's right. Down south, they live, breathe. This is 100% a reality show to them.
Yeah.
And so the fans down there are much more involved,
Invested in the stories.
Yes, definitely invested mentally in the stories. And then, with him and I learning and not so much just learning, but, just being able to hone our craft down south and then bring it up here, I really feel like that's one thing that helped Tony and I be so successful, in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and in the areas up this way, because that we took what we were doing in the South and brought it up here. And they had a great thing going on up here, don't get me wrong, but they had it in a skillet. When we bring, like, even again, Ricky Morton and some of the other guys, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, when we bring those guys up from the South, that's like jumping out of the frying pan and into the fire. Another little bit of trivia, Tony touched on Hilltop a while ago. Scott Diamond, the first place that he first match that he was involved in the state of Kentucky was at 101 Hilltop.
Okay, wow, okay.
Not
So
only
history there.
Yes, sir. And not only that, we're getting ready to do the 11th annual Scott Diamond Birthday Bash. Another piece of trivia. 101 Hilltop was the first place that the Scott Diamond Birthday Bash had ever been.
Oh, wow, okay.
It originated right there. And, the building was about 300 or so. We had so many people, there was no more seats. We had sold out 300 seats, and we probably had 100 people standing around, and then still another 100 people standing in the smoking area just so they could listen. And again, to put it out there, 101 Hilltop is where it happened. On the very first Scott Diamond Birthday Bash, Tony was talking about Boogie a few moments ago. He had traveled with Boogie a little bit, and I learned a lot from Jimmy Valiant myself. And one of the greatest things that ever happened to me was at the very first Scott Diamond Birthday Bash. First and foremost, my father coming was the greatest thing. But secondly, when I'm in the middle of the ring and I've got 400 people just screaming and hollering your name, and somebody says, Scott Diamond, you have a telephone call, and I turn around and say, hey, I'm in the ring, pull out a Tracy Smothers, if I may, rest his soul. I'm working here, so work with me. And so they said, no, I think you want to take this phone call. And I said, you know what? I'm in the ring. I'm working. If they want to talk to me and it's so important that they talk to me right now, put it over the loudspeaker and let everybody hear it. And then that was the moment that Scott Diamond was humbled to the point of the first tear I ever shed in a wrestling ring. Because when they put the phone on speaker, this is what I heard. Hey, Scotty, baby, somebody told me you had a birthday today, brother. Well, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you from the Boogeyman, brother.
Oh, wow, okay. That's awesome.
And if that is not the greatest thing for a wrestler to have, it is definitely in the top two.
I bet.
So,
Who was calling?
The judge was calling. There's a judge calling, trying to get in contact. There's a lot of people. Scott Diamond is,
Have him call back.
Judges, congressmen, you name it.
Hey, Scott.
They're on my Rolodex.
Anthony, we're going to have somebody else call. You can call back here in a little bit, okay?
Yeah, guys, you guys have a good night, and keep doing the good work.
Thank you for
Tony, I'll
calling.
call you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you for calling, and get with me, and we'll do a whole podcast about this new upstart stuff. And we want to
All
have
right, you guys have a good one, man. Enjoy the show. I've been enjoying it.
Thank you,
Yes,
Anthony.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Let me tell you.
An actual judge. Okay.
Top-notch guy right there.
Okay.
Anthony
Unknown
Posley.
caller.
Yes.
Is that Judge Jerry Lee?
Judge Jerry Lee.
Judge Jerry Lee here. Guys, how you doing?
We're doing good. You're on the podcast with the Nice Guy Andy podcast. We got somebody you might know here, Austin Diamond and Scott Diamond.
Judge, how
Hey,
you doing,
Austin,
my
how
friend?
you doing, buddy?
Hey, he addressed me first. You stay in your lane, Grandpa.
You got it.
Jerry
You
Lee,
got it.
I am alive and well. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, doing good. Want to call and talk to you guys.
Understandably so. In fact, I wake up every morning just to talk to myself and look in the mirror.
I hear you there.
Nothing would get done over there, and I don't know if I can say the county, but in that S County, I'm not going to say the name of it because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but nothing would get done over there in that S County if it was not for Judge Jerry Lee, let me tell you.
Hey, Jerry Lee, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, like you said, we ain't gonna mention no counties or anything, but been the judge, been a lot of things here, and law enforcement and whatnot, and I met Scott. Like every kid wants to be in the wrestling business. And I was doing some ring announcements for All-American MMA. Heard they needed an announcer, went over there, and the fella in the back told me I had to wait and talk to this Scott Diamond fella. He tell me what to do. And I said, well, I don't know
I'm
who
going
this
to tell
fella
you
is.
what to do.
Checks out.
I said, well, they said, well, he'll be here in a little while. And I thought, well, I don't know who this fella is, but okay, I'll wait on him. I don't know how I'm going to know who he is. Well, he came walking in the door, and by the way he was dressed and the way he was talking, I said, I bet that right there is Scott Diamond.
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
And it was. I thought I was going to be a ring announcer, and he lined me all out, and I was a heel announcer, and we went from there, and he taught me everything I knew, and made my dream come true there. Really.
Are you still doing announcing?
No.
Just
Kind
on
of retired from everything.
Okay. You're still a judge, right? You're not retired from the judge?
No, I ain't retiring from all that. I'm still Judge Shirley.
Hey, look, he's too modest. Not only was he a great ring announcer, and that it seems like a lot of people on the outside looking in that'd be an easy job, but it's really not. You got to know everything about anybody coming to the ring. So that's a tough job.
This announcing
Exhibit
stuff is
A.
hard.
Not only that, like I said, the judge is being a little bit shy. He turned out before he retired out of the wrestling business as one of the best heel managers in Indiana, Southern Indiana, and Kentucky.
All right.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
If you're ever in Lexington, maybe we'll have you on the podcast in person.
We will.
Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like that.
He the one that came out with Vic the Bruiser towards the tail end of KEPW?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Different judge.
As a different judge, yes.
Okay.
Vic
Sorry.
and that judge, they had been running together 30 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's a little bit older than Judge Jerry Lee is, but
I tell you what else is tough. Sorry, Scott. Go ahead.
No, you're fine, Judge. Go ahead. I need those parking tickets taken care of, so you got the show.
Right. I tell you what's I didn't want to say anything, but I tell you what else is tough is it's wrestling a mop. Wrestling a mop is tough.
Wrestling a
Judge,
mop.
are you going to tell that story?
Tell it.
I've heard this story.
Oh gosh.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Judge went to the ring with me that night.
Yeah, that's a funny story.
Oh my gosh.
You want to tell the story, Judge?
Go ahead and start it out, Scott.
Yeah. So, I had lost this match to TJ Lightning, and at the time, I was the general manager over there, and I was running the show. And of course, there was a lot of people that were upset because they felt like that I was being biased upon the show because a lot of the bad guys were getting breaks that some of the good guys felt that they should have gotten. But my philosophy always was, we'll go in the parking lot, and whoever wins the fight, that's the one that gets it. And so, when the judge was training to be a manager, of course, as he was saying, I took him under my wing. So when I lost this match to TJ Lightning, I had to do some of the most. These things were below me, so below me, I tell you. And so, of course, I shared the limelight with Judge Jerry Lee. So when things got a little rough, I had to pull him along to give me a hand. And so one evening during intermission, we had a vinyl canvas. On the ring, we had a vinyl canvas, and so a lot of sweat, blood, whatnot get on there. And so during intermissions, they have somebody come out and they swab the vinyl canvas so as not to pass on any colds, flus, or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so as much as I hated it, TJ Lightning says, it's cut and dry. You either do the job we ask or you're in breach of contract, and then we could send you home without paying you the rest of the money on your contract. And, of course, Scott Diamond loves money more than anything. And so I said, of course, I'll do whatever the heck you say. And then so he tells me, he says, I need you to get the mop bucket, put some cleaner in there, and come up here and mop the ring during intermission. And I'll go right out on the record and say it pissed me off to no end.
I bet.
Because, again, I felt
I can imagine you with the mop.
No, not since I left the Marine Corps.
Oh,
no.
yeah.
And that was 40 years ago.
Yeah, mopping the head.
And so, yes. And so I go back and I tell Judge Jerry Lee, I said, look, man, this is a crappy job, but, I can't go home and not collect this money. I like sitting around collecting money. So if we just got to mop the thing, it can't be all that bad.
Yeah.
I was not really totally correct on it not being that bad. And so Judge Jerry Lee, he always had Scott Diamond's back, even that night. So he's standing behind me. He even carried the bucket. He even carried the mop bucket, filled it full of water, and the whole 9 yards. And so when I get out there, of course, I've got the mop in my hand. Judge Jerry Lee's behind me with a bucket of water. He's going to help me because that's the kind of guy he was. And so as he's coming through the rope, we were distracted by TJ Lightning. And so as I'm looking over at him, not paying attention to the judge coming in, the judge looks over at TJ Lightning as well. The bad thing there was when he looked over at TJ Lightning, he hadn't got all the way into the ring yet. Mm-hmm. So when the judge came in, he tripped on that bottom rope, and guess where that bucket of water went? All over the ring.
Oh,
And just as soon as it went all over the ring, of course, Scott Diamond was wearing a $500 pair of Italian leather shoes. They don't do too good in water.
No.
And so when the slip sliding was done, Scott Diamond was on his back looking at the lights. I had a mop over my chest. Jerry Lee was standing over there with this deer in the headlights. Looked like, man, I am so sorry. And TJ Lightning jumps down, counts 1, 2, 3, holds the mop up, and says Scott Diamond just got beat by a mop.
Oh, wow.
And for over a year, and some people still do it to this day. They have called Scott Diamond a housewife ever since that.
Oh, snap.
Yes.
Yeah, they won't say it to your face, though.
No, they won't say it to my face.
When he says he was slipping and sliding, he looked like he was running in place for 5 minutes. And it was, I hate to say it, but it's kind of and Scott, who was that? Kid Mack.
Kid Mack.
He was in the ring after Scott. We still had to mop the dang ring, and Scott started mopping, and Kid Mack's in there going, "Mop that floor, boy, mop that floor."
I kicked him in the face one time, and I wish he was around so I could kick him one more time.
One more time.
As the judge saying, Kid Mack was there, and he got the better end that night because, again, he and TJ Lightning. But there did come a time that Kid Mack and myself, because, as the promoter and booker, sometimes I have the option of setting up matches.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to give out blank contracts in order to get things the way that you want them. And TJ Lightning and Kid Mack was on such a roll. I mean, they're both great athletes, don't get me wrong. Excuse me, I give credit where credit is due. But when I got Kid Mack finally into a match, Scott Diamond, because Kid Mack, now just put it out there, he was a great athlete. TJ Lightning, great athlete too. Kid Mack at the time was the midget or little person, however you want to say it, heavyweight champion at the time.
Okay.
Well, after he did that to Judge Jerry Lee and Scott Diamond that night, I gave him a blank contract of which he signed, and then, of course, I put my name on the bottom of that, and I kicked him in the face, and Scott Diamond became the first 6-foot-tall midget champ right there.
He did.
With that being said, Jerry, here we are being very generous and charitable, trying to make you look good. But you're on here, and you're making my last name look bad, so it's like this. He was being very generous, talking about one of the best managers to ever come down the pike, one of the best announcers to ever come down the pike, other than Austin Diamond. And you know what? He even said, you carried the mop bucket. Well, just because you couldn't do that well, I'll give it to you like this. You did carry gear bags pretty well. You were pretty all right at that.
And mop buckets.
Come to think of it, it's about time you came and got mine.
Judge, we have created a monster.
Yeah.
But don't I hear that? I'm so glad to hear Austin's voice, and but to tell you that Scott did not duck challenges with the midget belt. He would come into the ring and offer to fight any midget in the audience, any two midgets in the audience.
2 midgets. Yeah.
Never was it accepted.
Oh, wow.
Because they knew better, Judge.
Do you still hold that title? Or did you lose it to somebody?
I actually lost it back to Kid Mack about 3 months later.
Okay.
But, it kind of made me mad, so I just kept the damn belt.
Yeah.
He held it over his head. Little guy came up short. What can I say?
That's right. Yeah, he got mad. Yeah, I was just going to say, when I wouldn't give the title back, because when you lose, you're supposed to, give that title to whoever wins. And so since I wouldn't give the title back, he did bring a lawsuit against me, tried to sue me, but, he came up a little short.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
midget champion.
Good thing you had a judge in your back.
Yeah, I had a judge in my
I
back
heard.
pocket.
I heard the judge said it was a tall lawyer trying to
Oh,
bring
It was. It was indeed.
lawsuit.
Hey, Leon, if you're watching, we got the judge on the line. Call us back as soon as we get him off.
We're making light of a few things, but the truth of the matter is this, wrestling is a tough business.
Johnny, message him.
You really have to have tough skin, and you got to be able to not only, everybody talks about going out and beating people up. Well, there's times that the shoe is on the other foot. Hook or crook, you get beat up a little bit yourself. But I got to say, the judge stuck it out, and he done a great thing by Scott Diamond. No matter where I went, no matter where I needed him, he was always there. Whether it be a legal matter, of course, because Scott Diamond's had a lot of legal problems in the world.
No, sir, not Scott Diamond.
Absolutely not.
I told you I'd love.
I even
Judge?
went as far as babysitting a couple of times. You remember that, Austin?
Unfortunately, yes, I do.
So why were you babysitting the judge?
Well, you see, I have the grace of my presence. I've been a very
Well, I needed somebody
Yes,
that night.
Jonathan Barnes left a great comment,
goodness.
putting both you guys over. Hey guys, Scott Diamond taught me so much. BC, aka before COVID, we used to shut down Cookout,
Yeah.
lobby many nights in Frankfurt. He took a chance on an announcer from a different company to follow his dream to be a referee.
Yep.
He also kept me in the business after his pops passed last year.
Yeah.
I hope that we can work together again soon, boss. The future is bright for the Diamond legacy in Austin.
Professor, we will do more together. He's another great young man. His dream was to be a referee, and it just wasn't going real good for him initially. And I don't know. I have this eye, and sometimes you can see things in people that they don't even see in themselves. And Jonathan Barnes, the same way with the judge. I seen more things happening for them. I seen that they had this hunger within them that they could really take that ball and run with it. And I gave them a couple of pointers, and then I gave them the ball, and they both ran with it. So
That's right.
Professor, we'll definitely get together, and thank you for the kind words. And Judge, always a pleasure, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Thank you guys for having me on. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Joe Goldsoul said he's thankful for the podcast and the Diamond Cartel, who I've dreamed of working with maybe one day.
And Andrew Dew Browning says he's been to every one of your birthday bashes.
He has, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Andrew Dew Browning
A Leo, or one
the
other.
best
Wrestling fan in the state.
fan to ever come down the pike. He is one of the
Yes.
best fans to ever come down the pike, and I love you, Drew.
Hold on a second, Leon.
Yeah.
Okay. It's Leon Lexington on the phone, guys. What's up, Leon? You're on the
Yeah.
Nice Guy Andy podcast with Austin Diamond and Scott Diamond.
Yeah, I just got
Don't get
off
my leg
work.
broke.
Don't get your leg broke. Well,
Questions.
I'm going to ask my stupid question, but first, I like to
I'm
consider
walking.
myself the Maxwell Jacob Friedman of podcasting, because I come into the studio once a month. I drop fucking nuclear bombs on Sean John, Slicky J, and that dumb fuck Johnny Lee, who's taking up a valuable spot where Fandito should be. It's fucking, it's brutal, honestly. It's honestly just, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. And you shut the fuck up, Johnny. So I like to consider myself the MJF of the podcast game, because I come in once a month. I drop nuclear fucking bombs on Johnny Lee's head, and then I leave. That's what I like to do. But and I see that a lot in Austin Diamond, because he's the next up and comer in this business. I just see it already. But my stupid question I've been conjuring up is, I know, does anybody there watch the Monday Night Raw WWE?
Yeah.
Anybody?
I don't have that.
Well, I know the past couple weeks we've been seeing the great Dominic Mysterio turn on his dad, and I was just wondering when is Austin Diamond going to turn on Scott Diamond and join the Judge Dito day?
Ooh, Judge Dito. What the?
For just a brief second, Leon,
I had some respect.
I was right there ready to send you on the Christmas card list. But to think that Austin Diamond would ever turn on his father, that's never going to happen, brother. Because one thing that I have
I kicked
instilled
my
in him.
dad in the dick for a beer today, right now.
I'll be honest, I'll kick your dad in the dick for a drink.
I say we both go. I'll come up to the podcast right now. We'll beat the fuck out of my dad and go have a
What
drink.
the hell?
Hey, y'all got to remember, I got Zodiac's phone number, so bring it on.
Gentlemen,
Yeah.
spit roasting the host is not very polite.
Exactly. Austin's on my side, so
Neither is the co-host.
we might do this Dark Vader turn on. Yeah, I got you some money. You know, I'll be carrying the cash flow.
Is that a 50 he just handed you?
Don't spit fire the co-host
tag
either.
match, me and Scott Diamond
Austin.
versus Nice Guy Andy and Austin Diamond.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that might happen
Nice guy,
someday.
you know.
You bring
Are
two
you
strippers
trying to-
and a bottle of bourbon, and I'll whip them both myself.
Are you trying to tell me I'm fired, Leon?
Sean John, I love you so much. I feel
Love
like
you too, brother.
you don't get enough. They give that dumb fuck over right in front of you, Johnny Lee, all the credit, but Sean Johns never gets none of it. And
Andy,
let's not talk
the
about
call's
how.
breaking
Let's
up.
not talk
I
about.
can't hear him.
I'm too humble.
The
to
call
be.
is dropping.
You're too humble.
You're too humble, Sean
I'm too
John.
humble. I'm too
Hey,
humble.
tell us about this Nice Guy Andy podcast awards that you and
I've been sitting on this for about like
I voted today.
let's say like
Did you?
I've been
Scott said he
sitting on
voted
this for,
today.
like, 4 months. Yeah, I seen earlier when I was looking through it who voted, who was voting. I seen that on there. But Scott Diamond and Austin Diamond, I'm pretty sure both of them are nominated for one award for the both of them and 2 by themselves. So be looking out for that. Voting will started today and will end November 29th. So after Thanksgiving will be the last little bit of voting that we can do, and then we'll get all together and get the show going on somewhere around December. We still haven't worked out a day. But, well, I just wanted to highlight we've done so much in such a 2-year time, and I just wanted to highlight some of the great moments and great guests and just overall greatness of the podcast. It's been a great 2-year process of watching the podcast grow. And I know that I can't be there for every single show, but I do love calling in. I do love being there on the weekends, on the pay-per-views when I can, because I feel like I'm one of the starting members of the podcast, and so a lot of our starting members aren't here today. Well, not because they're dead or something like that.
We killed them.
They got jobs and whatnot, and we understand that. But I just feel like I needed to, as executive producer, I needed to come out and do something more for the podcast and tribute to the 2 years that we've had going. And I really think this is going to be a special event. Like I said, that Austin Diamond and Scott Diamond, our guests tonight, are nominated. So for everybody listening right now, please, I've sent in a million times on the Facebook Live. Go into the comments. One of my 15 millionth posts will be there, and they'll have the survey. Please go and share and pick whatever you want to vote for. I'm pretty sure you can vote once a day. So go on there, choose what you want to choose, and December we will have the results. So that's all I wanted to say.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much.
You're doing a great job, Leon. You got the Scott Diamond seal of approval.
Oh,
gang, gang.
Did you hear that?
I like to
Gang,
see.
gang, baby.
Gang, gang, brother.
Because I'm diamond, baby.
Hey, you know what? I don't hand out compliments. Getting a compliment from me is like an Ethiopian getting a good meal. So when I give
feel
it to
like-
you, it's happening.
I was
That's
listening to you earlier, and I was like, he's a better fucking Ric Flair. I was like, I don't know how he is, but he's a better fucking Flair. Like, that's my compliment to you, because I think Flair is one of the greatest of all times. But you succeed that. You succeed that. You're further than that. You also have a great radio voice. You need your own podcast, Scott Diamond.
Hey, I'm liking what you're saying, and for you to compare me to Rick, that's a great compliment. Again, he has always been someone I looked up to, and fortunately I've been able to sit with him on several occasions. And just to go along with what you're saying there, Leon, down through the years, I've had several people say that to me. One guy, I got the hell beat out of me somewhere one night, and I think it was in Evansville. But, of course, beaten up and bloody and stuff like that. Thankfully, I still came out with the win. But the message that I got afterwards was, I showed my wife your bloody promo, and you know what? You are the second coming of Flair. And so that's a great compliment to me, and thank you very much for that.
Yeah, Flair is the best.
Thank you for the wise words. Thank you for being such a great guest on our podcast. And
let's start working on that Scott Diamond podcast, too.
Hey, we can, yeah.
Yeah, for real. You're like, his voice is made for radio and podcasting. Like, I was hearing him earlier, and I was trying to, like, he sounds like somebody else, but it's uniquely him. And I was like, he needs to have his own show.
Yeah.
Like, it just
Well, you're executive producer. We can figure that out, right?
call it the Diamond Mine.
I was a little worried there at first, Leon, because when you're saying I got a face for radio, I thought you was calling me ugly.
Hey, you leave Sean Johns out of this.
Whoa, hold on.
Let's leave the great Sean Johns out of this.
Thank you, Leon.
Oh, you're welcome, Sean. Some junkie on the roads walking with a vacuum right now. I think she just stole that from my house.
Hey, look, did you say it was some prostitute? Because it sounded like you was promoting a Hoover.
Oh! Vacuums. Sean, you're something of a
That ain't
Hoover
what your
yourself,
mama said.
because you managed to suck and blow at the same time.
That's continuity, brother.
I agree.
Ain't
But
what
I
your mama said.
But I cannot wait to see what Austin Diamond does in the
I
business.
hate you all.
And I can't wait for everything that Scott Diamond has coming. Y'all are great. Thank you to the guys in the studio that are always there. The great Sean John. Fuck Johnny Lee. Fandito should be there,
Fuck
but
you, Leon.
I guess we'll do. Fuck you, Johnny. I'm sick and tired of you. Whenever we do this Saturday show, when we do this Saturday show, I think I'm gonna have to get Fandito to come in there and fucking beat your ass.
Speaking of the devil, he just texted me.
No.
Down, get him.
No, do not go. You don't have to go get him.
Go get Fandito.
Well, if he's gonna whip,
There's no
Last time-
way
you
he's
know-
there. I talked to Fandito earlier. He was on his way to Cancun to fuck bitches. There's no way.
The last
There's
time
no-
Johnny went and got Fandito, he ended up tied up in the back of his car.
Yeah, well, I helped with that. I'm not gonna lie. I helped with that one.
Oh, okay.
Well, Leon, before you get off here, man, let me say this to you. The 11th annual Scott Diamond Birthday Bash, the tentative date right now is January the 21st, 2023. That will be the day that Scott Diamond lays his cane and his fedora into the ring, and I will step back out of wrestling or working inside ring. I, of course, will always be a part of wrestling, but my in-ring work will end at the 11th annual Scott Diamond Bash. And again, the tentative date is January the 21st, and I want to be the one to invite you personally.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. I'll have to get with my wife and figure out. I got 2 kids, so I have to figure out my free time. But I can just say fuck them and go anyways if I really need to.
Hey, look,
he's a diamond.
look.
It's not too late to take to the firehouse, bro.
I had 3 kids of my own, and like Rick, I had several wives. So do what I did. You just go to the mall, tell them to have fun, and as they take off running, you head back to the car and say to hell with them.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta put a little bourbon in the sippy cup. That's what my grandfather always told me.
Robitussin, baby, Robitussin.
You can always leave him with Granny.
Big old pot of
Yeah,
Sudafed.
always leave them with Granny. But I gotta go inside here to this convenience store. So I love the show tonight. Great show. It's always a treat when Austin and Scott Diamond are on the show. And thank you to the guests in house, even Johnny Lee.
All
So thank y'all. Y'all be safe.
Hey, love you, man.
Thank you, Leon.
Take care,
Thank
bro.
you.
Have you.
Remember, whoever swallows the most Tylenol PM wins. How you doing?
Andrew Do Browning, you said you wanted to call in. Go ahead, brother.
And Joe Monroe can call again, too. Whoever sent stars can call.
That's right. Maddie sent some stars, so she's more than welcome to call if she would like.
Yeah, everybody that's got my phone number, just go ahead and call. If you don't have my phone number, message me or Johnny on Facebook, and
Or
we'll get
Sean.
it for you.
Don't message that idiot.
Oh,
Bandito.
Bandito graced us with his presence.
The legendary
Unknown caller.
Fandito. How you doing?
Austin Diamond and Scott Diamond himself.
Bandito, my friend.
I love to
right.
sit alongside.
What's
stars
good,
like
Andrew
this.
Browning?
Andrew Browning, you're on the podcast with Austin Diamond, Scott Diamond, and Fandito.
Oh, God. Bandito, really? Yeah,
That's
boy.
right.
You gonna put
What's
that
up,
bit?
Mr. Diamond?
How are you, Andrew? Always good to hear from you, my friend.
I'm pretty good. How are you all doing? What's up, Boston?
How you doing, Drew? I've been a lot better and I've been a lot worse, but I'm happy to be here along stars like Scott Diamond, the nice guy Andy, Bandito, and absolutely nobody else. You know, and really, I'm glad I can bring so much joy to so many viewers at home.
That's right.
I hate you.
How's your grandmother, Drew?
She's doing good. I'm about to actually go to bed in a little bit because I got work in night 1 of Barbara 4 tomorrow, too.
Oh yeah, that's
look on
happening
my
tomorrow.
face.
Adrian Alexander's gonna go down there and steal the show away.
You're gonna whoop Kellen Craven's ass.
Let me tell you.
Bandito,
I don't care
nobody
who's
asked
on the
you.
lineup. Adrian Alexander is the preeminent star in that event tomorrow night.
Yeah, he's gonna steal
Bar
the
none.
show. He's
Bar
gonna
none.
steal the show. Anywhere he's at, he's gonna steal the show.
Yeah.
You know why? Because he's a diamond investment.
Exactly. So yeah, everybody, like Drew, like Andrew Do Browning said, Bar Brawl 4 is going to be in Cynthiana tomorrow night. I think. What's the opening?
Legends Bar and Event.
When's it open? What's the gate open?
Gate opens at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Guys, I hope we can get down there in time because I have to work tomorrow too. But and then Saturday night is the all women's card down there in Cynthiana.
Yeah.
Skirts.
Bar Brawl 4, and our the podcast had Alexis Littlefoot on, and she is going to be in the main event. So we're pulling for her, and we don't really care about anybody else. But
You've been sitting next to Austin Diamond too long.
I know we want her to win, so we're big fans of Alexis Littlefoot. She supports the podcast, and she's been on. So, and Gaston LaRue is going to be down there, and Gaston LaRue by the book. Gaston LaRue is taking he's taking on the winner of the 3-way match between Chris Majors.
Yep.
Who else is in it?
Chris Majors,
Bruiser Morrison and Drew Dillinger.
That's who I said.
The Monsters, the Hoss match, I guess.
So it's a
Something
triple
like that.
threat. Is that what it is?
It's a triple threat.
Hoss fight.
I'm going on record right here. Drew Dillinger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right here, right now.
But Chris Majors came out in the last Ball Brawl 3 and cleaned house, and he's a monster, too. So that's going to be a hell of a match. And your Generation Next Pro Wrestling champion, Gaston LaRue, has to take on one of those monsters in the main event because Jay Money pulled out of that match. I guess he's still hurt or whatever, and we don't really know the details of that. But maybe, Jay Money takes the money, so maybe, and Gaston LaRue is a fan of the podcast, so, maybe Nice Guy Andy sent Jay Money a little money to pull his little ass out of that match. So
We're not saying they did, but he really did.
And Drew Dillinger's been on the podcast on the phone, so
yeah, exactly.
We're gonna help Gaston retain the title. So let's just say that.
Well, again, I've worked with all those young men in the triple threat. My money's on Drew Dillinger.
A monster.
And then when it comes down to Drew Dillinger and Gaston LaRue, that's a coin toss. Again, I've worked with both of these young men. They both come in and have worked with me and for me. And
they've got the same manager, so he wins either way.
He wins either way, and that's a sticky wicket when you get in there and you got two of your own going against each other.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I think Gaston's going to pull it out.
Can be by the book. Doesn't always cut it, You got to take it by hook, by crook, or by the book. But again, by the book just doesn't always cut it. We're talking about a ghost maker here in Drew Dillinger.
Yes.
And like Scott Diamond was saying, he's got it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. And Gaston does have that book, and he let me peep into it a little bit, and I've seen a little bit. I look like I looked into the future, and I think I can do a suplex now.
I gotta tell you, that book.
Hey, Sean,
What's up, Drew?
don't forget that clothesline I did you that one night.
Yeah, made me do a moonsault after taking your clothesline.
He clotheslined you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got clothesline by Andrew Dubrown, and you got a figure 4 leg lock by Chris Blade.
Yeah.
Is Jonathan? You've been
ain't
fucked up by the Slicksters.
Jonathan ain't done nothing to me yet, but the night is young.
Right.
So Scott Diamond, how are you doing?
Drew, a lot been going on, as always, with Scott Diamond. I'm working hard bringing wrestling to Kentucky and other states. I'm going to be on the road. We're heading to Chicago next week.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a big
nice.
deal.
We'll be in southern Indiana again here first part of November, all over the state of Kentucky. So still just keeping busy, Drew.
Is Austin going to be in Chicago, be wrestling in Chicago?
Austin will be in Chicago
That's
with Scott
right.
Diamond.
Chicago
wow.
Wrestling called and Austin Diamond answered. Because that's what happens when you're a star. Don't believe me? Ask this guy. Andy, he knows. Ask anybody here that doesn't have a shiny yellow jacket on that they found outside on a dead guy. All right?
I got it from
Star
Johnny
power
Lee, sir.
Unmatched. Oh, well, he looks a lot better in it. But at any rate, star power doesn't lie. And whether it's big time, whether it's Riverside, Chicagoland, it could be anywhere in between. My time. And anybody who doesn't believe it can burn in my light as I surpass them on the ladder. The clock ticks and diamonds are forever.
Oh, my God. This
undefeated.
guy is money on the microphone. You are money on the microphone, guy.
Damn straight.
Grew up in it.
And
He's lived it.
16,
and
he's only got the top to go to.
Hey, Andrew, look, we're going to let you go. We're going to try to get somebody else on the line, okay?
I gotta tell you.
I was going to play a song for
dude.
Scott Diamond real quick.
I can't play any songs, okay? Because they'll copyright me.
I got it.
They'll hit me with copyright sounds. I can't play any songs. All right, man.
Well, Drew, I appreciate you. You have a good evening. Give my love to your grandmother.
Take care, brother.
All right, you too, Mr. Diamond.
amazing. I watched that.
Nice Guy Andy podcast.
That's the only song I'm allowed to play.
Nice. I respect it.
So,
Personally, I prefer hearing my own voice, but you know.
I'm digging the little Christmas thing there.
oh yeah, this I got a few things here. We'll go with I got the Nice Guy Andy podcast.
Nice
theme.
Guy Andy podcast. Skullface Records Radio.
So that's our own little track given to me by Nick Nasty down there in Cynthiana.
Good old
Great
Nick
guy.
Nasty.
Great guy, Skullface Records, man. The nicest dude you will ever freaking meet. The greatest guy. He's so talented with the music. Love that guy. And then we got...
Oh, yeah!
That's Slicky J. And then we got over here, what we got on the green? Let me see.
Oh, dear Lord. That's me.
That's John. That's Sean.
I
And
like that one.
Oh.
Those were expensive shoes. You know, you guys.
I don't know who this one is.
Wait a minute, we got to hear that again. Is that when Bobby Blade stole my shoes?
Yeah.
Those were expensive shoes. You know, you guys. Scott Diamond is custom made.
Scott Diamond is custom
You
made.
wanted him to lay down. And he said, well, you gave him some money.
Hey, $20,
He took the money,
$20.
and then he wanted your shoes, too. I was at that show.
He took my. Then you seen the Italian leather shoes that I had?
Yeah.
I paid $500 for them shoes. Bobby Blade, if you're listening, you
want your
still
shoes
owe me
back.
my shoes.
With them damn shoes back, Bobby Blade. I want to
Yeah.
get you and him on this damn podcast
Man,
together.
10 years interest, that's at least $750.
So then we
At
got over
least.
here on the green. What we got on this one?
I forget.
This is a Zodiac. I'm telling you now, meditate, elevate, and dominate. Do it with the Nice Guy Indie podcast.
That's our champ, Nice Guy Indie Podcast champion, Zodiac.
Great wrestler, great guy.
We're going to have a match at some point between Zodiac and Drew Dillinger for that title. So that's going to happen at some point. And then we got this one down here.
If he keeps popping off at the mouth, I'm gonna be his daddy.
Well,
You wish, Johnny.
That's Johnny Lee. And, okay, what we got? Oh, we got. We played this one.
mama said.
So that's Sean Johns. And then we got the legendary Mike Maverick.
Anyways,
In his head.
you guys go on your little rinky-dink bullshit podcast. Anyway.
I love that.
Yeah.
So that's when he was pissed off at us and he called us a rinky dink bullshit podcast. And I just,
We're
when
running with
somebody
it.
tries to, say something about Nice Guy Andy, I'll just turn your little voice, I'll just turn your sound bite into something of mine. And I,
Yeah, I actually thoroughly enjoyed that. And in fact, you should replace Sean's buttons with Leon Lexington buttons.
Oh, yeah.
They're a voice of prestige, something that holds value.
yeah, we'll get one of his sound bites on
Oh,
What's going on?
Leon Lexington said, I think when Scott leaves, Austin needs a new manager. How about Leon Lexington?
Hey, brother, my phone stays open. You know how to get a hold of me. You follow me on Instagram through 3 different pages, brother. Just say you want to see me. It's not that hard.
Oh, we're going
Come
to get
to terms with it.
down there at New South Upstart. We'll probably get Leon Lexington involved a little bit with that.
I do want to be around you, Austin, but I'm not worthy, so I'm not even going to bother asking.
Hey, what do you know? I agree. We've come to terms. How you doing?
Oh,
hey, look, Sean, I put it where it's at. I don't like either, but I will say this. Brother, you went and got me a drink so you can breathe the rest of the night.
All right, that works.
What'd you
That's the
pour?
only
What'd you
good
pour?
thing
Us,
he's ever
that
done.
new bottle of bourbon you had out there.
Oh,
that wild turkey.
That Wild
Now,
Turkey.
gentlemen, it's time to get
knows me.
serious.
Wild Turkey 101 is my
Well,
favorite.
That's how he got his name. Austin Nichols was the distiller
Right.
at the time.
okay.
And so I drank an Ocean, and I bought stock in Wild Turkey. So I said, if I ever had another young man, another son, if you will, his name will be Austin, and there he sits.
Yeah,
Right.
like you said, I do my homework, and,
And,
you told me that the other night when we were talking, and so I just got you a brand new bottle.
I don't usually touch alcohol for any reason because, like I said, I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Well, you're not going to touch me, brother.
No, sir, no, sir.
$20 is $20,
Look,
only to some
stop.
extent.
Hear me out, brother. But I did open up the bottle for you and pour it, but none of it touched my hands. So that's it.
Still
I
sober.
won't do that for anybody. So consider yourself lucky, man.
Is this how you're announcing your temptation right now? Come on, he doesn't dance naked anymore. I told you this before I came. And again, time to get serious. This is not a laughing matter because one thing I do not like is somebody that litters. And John, I couldn't help but notice
You
dropped
just
the
threw
bottle
that
of water.
bottle at me.
You're right.
I
Go
didn't
get
see
another one.
You want another bottle? Okay, just say so.
Hey, break.
You ain't got to throw it at me,
You
jerk.
didn't have to litter, Sean.
You just
Bandito,
Tell him,
shut up.
Bandito.
You disgust me. Leon, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this?
He is
God
disgusted.
is my witness.
I am witness.
You and I are going to have a problem. Don't let that happen twice.
Oh, shoo-wee.
Hey, bring me a water too if you don't mind, Sean.
Taking a man's crutch is the last thing you ever do.
So
The man has spoken.
Fandito, what have you been up to, Fandito? Leon said you were headed.
Joe Monroe.
Joe Monroe's on.
Littering again.
Big spirit.
Joe Monroe, you're on the podcast with the Nice Guy Andy podcast. You're on the podcast with the Austin Diamonds and Scott Diamond and the famous Fandito.
How's it going, Joe?
Gentlemen, how you all doing tonight?
Good. Good to hear from you.
Everyone.
Good to hear from you too, sir. Unfortunately, we haven't got to meet face to face yet. Maybe one day we will. Austin, kid, keep it up, man. You're the future. Hands down with you talking smack already. Even though you're talking smack to my man Sean,
Thank you,
you're
Joe.
still talking some pretty good smack.
Get
So
higher standards, kid.
He learned from the best.
Get higher standards.
get higher standards.
You
Maybe
know,
I'll shut up.
Austin's he's in the ring. You know, if you can get him out of somewhere out of Kentucky, you know, we might be able to have that match, Joe.
He's undefeated too.
Listen, you don't want the kid to die, so that's probably not a good idea.
Oh.
Now, I
Shots
know we
fired.
cannot be referring to Austin Diamond because the only dying that gets done when Austin Diamond is in the ring, it's the women swooning at ringside. You know, they're dying to get in there with him. But this kid dying, I don't see it for another 100 years.
Joe, it's like this. I've done more in 16 years than most of you could do with 60. If you think I'm the one dying, you need to go take about 9 of those crazy meds you've got on your nightstand, brother.
Oh, we might have this match going on at some point,
I'd hate
Joe.
to embarrass
Shots
you.
fired.
I mean, so far outside of October, my books are open.
Oh, okay. Maybe someday.
Maybe we can get Joe up
Maybe
in Chicago.
someday.
Hey, Joe, can you go to Chicago?
Been to Chicago before. Love the pizza there, so why not?
They got
man.
great hot dogs. I love Chicago hot dogs.
The pizza
Yeah,
and
Chicago
the
dogs.
Oh
sandwiches.
my God.
The Italian beef.
I absolutely love Chicago. When y'all going?
The 9th
Of this month.
of October. We'll be
Oh,
up there.
I'll be in Florida. I'll be in Fort Lauderdale.
So
we'll be
that's
up there
a week
probably
from this coming
8, 9,
Sunday.
and 10th.
Let me know next time y'all go. I want to go with you guys because I absolutely love Chicago.
We definitely like
And
to see Austin
October
Diamond
8th is a
match.
special guy in this podcast birthday. He turns 42. He's
Oh,
sitting.
Bandito, happy
Your
birthday, brother. You don't look 42.
Oh,
Bandito's birthday's on October the 8th.
Right?
no,
It is
my birthday.
Oh,
Oh, Sean John's
All right.
birthday.
Only 42. Brother, you don't look a day over 72. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
He could have pulled me. He looked like he was 52.
I got you
Man,
50.
Hey, my birthday's the 11th, so.
That's right.
But I go to Florida by myself
You
on
look,
the
you
beach.
look like a day
I'm
over
probably
30.
going to be working, so I don't know.
You know, this hair ain't gray by me being aged. It's I died. This is I go to the
That's right.
salon and you have this done. You
I
know.
was getting
it's a
gray
chick
hairs
magnet.
at 15,
Yeah, it's a
so
chick
I don't want to
magic.
hear it.
They love the you know.
Years ago, you don't remember that.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. Now I went to Chicago. I think it was like 2012. There's a pizza spot down next to Wrigley Field. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Yes.
But if it's still there, gentlemen, I would highly recommend going and checking it out. Best
Love
pizza I ever
Chicago.
ate.
Love Chicago. Love Chicago. I love Chicago.
The
I say
food
that.
is
The
amazing.
Bears.
Man, we went down the
Devil.
4th of July. We went out on the lake out there. We went down to the beach. We went out on the lake. We watched the fireworks out on the boat, out on the lake. Beautiful, lovely, beautiful time. And people are, say, don't go to Chicago because it's too violent. Well, if you're not in the right place, you know.
Depends on the area.
Right.
Yeah. If you go downtown Chicago, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Down by the lake, by the river, down by the lake, you can't get a better view. The like in the summertime, the weather's great. Like it's still windy, but like it's awesome. It's not too hot. It's just right. I love
And
Chicago.
great food too.
They definitely have good food.
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah,
great
that's
wrestling.
what-
I say.
Yes. While we're speaking of Chicago, let me put over my good friend John Bullard. He runs Chicagoland Wrestling up there. Does a great job. John and I have known each other for years. He and his lovely wife just had an anniversary. Happy anniversary to you, John and Coriander. We'll be up there soon and just keep that action rolling with Chicagoland Wrestling.
Oh, yeah, please
again,
do.
You know, John Bullard is another guy that does his homework, or he wouldn't be pulling Scott Diamond and Austin Diamond up to Chicago.
Yeah,
Not just for any show, the anniversary, the return of Chicagoland Wrestling, October 9th, Michigan City. Chicagoland is not ready for Diamond Enterprises.
What part of town are they going to be? They do their show on?
Jennifer Buscemi, thanks for watching.
I would have to look at the address.
Yeah.
It's on the
I hope
border
I
there
pronounced that
between Illinois and
Okay, so it's
Indiana, I believe.
okay, so it's like okay.
Michigan City.
Hell yeah, okay. I love Chicago. I love
Great program.
Chinatown. I love Little Italy. I love it.
They have actually just went in collusion with a company from Japan, so they got big things happening there at Chicagoland. Like I said, they got
Tony was telling me a little bit about that.
So that's hot.
Yeah.
You know, the wrestlers in Japan and even the wrestlers in Mexico, you won't get a better athlete than wrestlers from those areas.
Yeah.
So anytime that we could get those people here with our Americanized wrestling, which is top notch as well, when you get Mexican wrestling or Japanese wrestling along with American wrestling, you know whatever the marquee says the price is, you're going to get more than your money's worth, without a doubt.
To be alongside guys like Yuya Yamura is just an absolute privilege. I'm glad I could give that to him, really.
Certainly, because look at this guy's track record. I mean, again, these guys that are coming over, they are top-notch athletes.
Hey, Joe, do you have any questions for Austin Diamond or Scott Diamond?
No, but I just want to comment when you guys were talking earlier. I mean, it kind of goes back what I was thinking Adrian for last night. I felt stuck. I'm not going to say what company it was, but I felt stuck at a company and, health issues on top of that. I just didn't have the gumption to travel at that point in time. But after talking with Adrian, just sitting and thinking about it, I said, what the heck? I mean, either way, they're going to get mad. So that's why I started traveling. And I know Scott Diamond follows me on Facebook. Thank you for that, sir. As you can probably see, I've been traveling with Triple Crown, and I've been working with, for the first time, Total Psychopathic Wrestling. Actually, I failed to mention that night I got to meet Necro Butcher, so that was kind of cool.
We don't know much. I don't know much about those guys. Tell us a little bit about the promotion you just said.
Total Psychopathic Wrestling is kind of the best way to describe it is kind of like an ECW feel. They have amazing matches. Menace was actually down there wrestling that night. So they have amazing matches, but then it gets towards the main event a little more hardcore. Okay. So it kind of feeds to every guy. It was a different environment from what I'm used to, 100%. But you know what? Everybody was so chill in the back, and it felt like a wrestling show from what I'm used to. Not knocking Triple Crown or anything or like that. Triple Crown was amazing too. But from what I'm used to for the past year, it just those two promotions, man, feel like 100% a wrestling show.
Hey, Joe, Scott wants to say something.
You hit a key nerve right there, Joe, and let me elaborate. When you step into a locker room, the egos are above and beyond. But when you step into most locker rooms, those egos cause people to branch off into small cliques within the locker room. Myself, I've ran many locker rooms, many companies, booked thousands and thousands of guys. And the one thing that holds true in every locker room that Scott Diamond has ever been a part of, as far as not just being there as a wrestler or a manager, but a locker room that I had control over.
Mm.
The one thing that I have always tried to do is to have camaraderie within that locker room. If you if you want to come in and you want to be an individual and you want to sit aside and be a clique and be onto your own and things like that, you don't stay in a locker room with Scott Diamond very long, because this is the deal. We all go out to the dance. We all have the same thing in mind. We love professional wrestling. That's why we're in here doing it to this day. And so if that's the case, we all have one common denominator, which is the love for professional wrestling. So when you step into my locker room, that's what it's all about. It's about professional wrestling, and it's about camaraderie inside the brother/sisterhood. So if you come into my locker room and that's not the attitude you have, that to me creates drama. And one thing that I do not tolerate in a locker room that I have, and that's drama. So if you don't want to be, if you don't want to have unity within your locker room, then you're not going to be in my locker room. So, again, you hit the nail on the head right there. When you go into a place and the locker room is great and everybody is on the same page and they put their egos aside, that is a locker room that anybody should want to be involved with.
Okay, so Mr. Diamond, to add to that, I don't know if you can hear this.
All right.
Yeah, he can hear you.
Yeah.
Take a shot just for you for saying that. I 100% believe that. That's how wrestling should be.
Well, look up at the screen, brother, and I'm toasting you this with this great 101 Wild Turkey.
I love Wild Turkey. Love it.
Shoo! Can't do that no more. Bad memory.
101 Wild Turkey is the best bourbon, I think. We got some Willard in there, but
citrus soda for me.
Yeah.
I just had Malibu rum handy, so I know that's kind of weak, but
nothing wrong with that.
Shot.
Well, Joe, thanks for calling in, Joe, and we appreciate your stars, and you become one of our best fans, and we appreciate you, buddy.
Not a problem, guys. Hey, Sean, come down October 8th, man. If you're not working, come up to Ferguson, man. That's TCW.
I'll see what I can do, brother. I'll find out my schedule, so I'll get back to you.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, well, gentlemen, have a great night.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe Monroe. Joe Monroe's been very generous. He's been sending a lot of stars. So, yeah. Anybody else that sent some stars can call in.
I regret that you had to watch that warthog, that baboon, that goose, Superman Johnny on your show.
Oh, wow.
Bandito, I'm glad he got up and left because, really, honestly, I wasn't digging his cologne. It was air of sweat.
I know, right? He smelled.
It was air of ass.
Smell from here.
Shut up, John. Your jokes are terrible.
What happened to Johnny?
You just laughed. So how are you going to say it was terrible, but you just laughed?
You're making things up. Are you drinking again, sir?
No, sir. I'm drinking citrus soda.
Before you brought it in here.
I poured it into the glass, and I didn't even touch it.
He might have been smelling the cork.
Oh.
You know what it was? He was probably smelling my good friend Johnny walking out of here. It gets a little intoxicating, But luckily, we've got a real man in here. And, from a fellow luchador, Jose Dito is the guy around here.
Jose Dito.
That's right.
The fact that he is not more mainstream causes me to lose sleep at night. It really does. Because I'll lay in bed looking up at the ceiling. It's about 12 feet off the ground. I like my space. And, I'll get lost in that ceiling thinking to myself, how is it that there are 24 hours in the day without Jose Dito being on everybody's television screen, night in and night out?
He is definitely a star, and he's a big contributor to the Nice Guy Andy podcast, and we appreciate you, Fandito.
Fuck
I appreciate you, too. I got caught holding that beautiful blue title right there at the last New South Crossfire, and I got to say, seeing me holding that beautiful gold, well, it makes it all worth it. Because wherever I go, championship seems to follow me, and this one right here is looking like it needs to be on my waist.
The first time I met Fandito, he had a donkey in a headlock, so that kind of.
I knew I'd seen you before. I've been to Tijuana. I have seen the donkey show.
Exactly
at
Tijuana.
Talk about what happened in Tijuana.
Yeah, we can't talk about that, but he had that donkey in a headlock.
Mr. Presley chimed in, said, our shows at New South Wrestling, we don't allow any egos or cliques. Either our locker rooms are all laid back in a family and a team.
And I can attest to that. He's 100% A1 correct. I've been in the New South locker room several times. And again, Tony does the same thing that Scott Diamond does. He promotes great wrestling, brings in a great card, and he does not tolerate any type of drama in the locker room. It's just one great family. It's a unity, and we all have camaraderie. Great locker room there at New South for sure.
Facts.
When we were helping tear down the ring at the New South show at Crossfire in Wilmore, everybody was getting along. I didn't sense any bitterness amongst the talent. Everybody put Austin Diamond over.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Like,
Austin, thank you for giving.
That may have been how they didn't get their payout or something. I don't know.
Austin, thank you for giving the belt back to us because that was very appreciated.
That was mighty.
Yeah.
So Cal Maggard, if everybody don't know the show, Cal Maggard, well, I don't know if Cal Maggard had anything to do with it. I'm not going to say Cal Maggard, but Lemon Juice McGee stole the belt when he was here. And
that's a very harsh word, Andy.
Well, it was true because he actually said that himself. He said, "Hey, I stole the belt from a Nice Guy Andy podcast," and then they were in the bathroom at they were in the bathroom at the Crossfire show. Maggard told him to leave the belt there. Austin Michaels finds the belt, and he's like, Austin Michaels always comes up with the gold. He ended up giving the gold belt to he gave it to
the mayor.
The mayor down there. What's his name?
Rainfall.
Yep,
So Mayor Rainfall met Austin Diamond and said he was so impressed with Austin Diamond that he's like, "Hey, have this belt." And Austin Diamond recognized the belt because he's seen it before, and then gave it back to us after I donated a lot of money to the Austin Diamond Foundation.
At least 5 figures. So
Let me tell you, it's got more money than the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, exactly, and a lot less dead bodies.
I'm not touching that.
This is the only extent of the political talk we have on the Nice Guy Andy podcast.
Stopped at broken bones, I promise.
That's right.
Oh, okay. So
Bone Collector, that was named after Austin Diamond.
But Andy, I do want to. I appreciate that greatly because that really made my pocket feel really good. But I gotta say, I don't appreciate that you started by implying Kyle Maggard had stolen anything. A guy with
no, not Kyle Maggard. Lemon Juice McGee, not Kyle Maggard. Lemon Juice. Kyle Maggard told him to.
He did not steal.
Yeah, he said no. Lemon Juice McGee said he stole the belt. He admitted it. I got it on video.
But Kyle Maggard would never.
No, he did not steal.
Pearly, precious, white boots like that would never, ever steal something.
That he was in here in the podcast. Great talent. Great talent. Great guy.
Really is.
Kyle Maggard.
Cal Maggard is an awesome person.
He does have some great boots.
Oh, I agree.
Kyle and I have
we took some great pictures in here.
We've done a lot in the sport of professional wrestling. Sometimes we've been on the same side. Sometimes we've been on the opposite
He's
side.
an honorary son. He can be honorary.
You just got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Kyle Maggard's a big guy. He does his homework too, which is a thing again that I've said to you many times. I appreciate and respect when somebody does their homework. That's one of the proudest things that I put out about Scott Diamond and Austin Diamond. We do our homework, and Kyle Maggard is a guy that does that as well. So whether you're
great wrestler,
whether I'm standing in the same corner with him, if I'm standing across the corner from him, you cannot take anything away from Kyle Maggard. Again, he does his homework, and he is a tough competitor, bar none.
Talking about Lemon Juice McGee, check out his podcast on Spotify. It's called, what's it called? Comic Virgin. And go check out Lemon Juice McGee's comic store down in Somerset, Kentucky. And tell him Nice Guy Andy podcast sent you down there, and I'm sure he'll give you some kind of discount or something.
But Andy, I just want to say one thing real quick. You say they admit they stole it. Well, let me tell you, the man doesn't steal. He simply borrowed your blue title.
Then why did he say he
stole it?
He said, I stole it.
He said that.
Hey, look what I stole, he said. Look what I stole.
You can't blame the man. It was Torrance.
I think what he meant was he had went out and got his girlfriend a mink stole, is what it was.
No, he said he stole the damn belt.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
I think there should be a match between Nice Guy Andy and Lemon Juice McGee. That's what I think.
Now look, it's like this. Talking about people that do their homework, people that have been all over. Lemon Juice would take you, brother. It's not personal.
What? Hey.
But Lemon Juice has your number.
I got a champion called Zodiac that'll be right there with me. So,
and I've got to say, I've been in a match against both of them.
Yeah.
And of course, fortunately, nothing bad on Lemon Juice. He's a great athlete.
Good thing Lemon Juice is retired.
But he and I were in a tag match, and
as of tomorrow morning.
Which in that tag match, whoever made the pin won the heavyweight championship, and of course Scott Diamond walked away with the heavyweight championship, and I pinned one Lemon Juice McGee. Now, when you talk about Lemon Juice McGee, he is a guy also that wears many hats.
Mm-hmm.
You know, was he the greatest wrestler? Never. He was a decent manager, certainly was.
Yeah.
But when you talk about podcasts, when you talk about collectibles and things like that, Lemon Juice is the guy to go to.
Oh yes, definitely.
You know,
you got to give it to that to him.
At one time, he had a organization, a podcast, if you will, called the Talent Podcast. Was
in 10 years, don't look at me.
Something Talent Podcast. The word.
Yeah, and he was a writer for MTV
escapes me at
too.
this time.
Yeah.
But the man, he knows his work when it comes to podcast and writing and things like that.
When he was on this podcast,
Independent Talent Podcast.
my YouTube blew the hell up. My
Yeah.
YouTube channel blew the hell up. I appreciate you coming on the podcast, Lemon Juice, because he was one of the biggest names at that point that had come on the podcast. Gave quite a bit of credibility to this podcast. So thank you, Lemon Juice McGee, for coming on to the podcast. Thank you for stealing my belt, and thank you, Austin, for getting the belt. He stole it.
You know, I would defend.
It was a friendly steal, but he stole it.
I would defend you.
That is a match that would leave you laying on the ground, counting stars and leaking juice.
Yeah, I was just talking shit. I'm not taking on. I'm not a wrestler. I'm a more of a interview guy. I'm not a wrestler, but I was just talking shit to Lemon Juice.
You know, I gotta say the real talk. We have talked about some really solid names out here tonight: Zodiac, Kyle Maggard, Bobby Blade, Austin Diamond, of course. You know, great names. Tony Presley being another one. But I feel like we're walking around one here, and I really, to tell you the truth, I don't appreciate it. Let's talk about the Killbilly. Let's talk about the urban legend, Evil Nate, shall we?
Yes, he is great.
He does watch the show, and he chimed in.
He chimed in last night.
And he said that he gave us a big compliment and said he would come on the podcast. Of course, he would come on the podcast because we were all over. So,
and Johnny's been talking to him.
Let me put my little opinion out there, which means anything to everybody. When you talk about Nate, you're talking about a guy who has promo skills unmatched.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott Diamond back in the day, and a little bit nowadays, you know, I'm not the guy I used to be maybe when it comes. I'm getting a little older. I've always enjoyed being the Dean Martin of wrestling. I don't like to practice. I just come in and do it. Bam, and we're done, and it's beautiful. But this Nate, the Killbilly, Nate has such a talent for promos that is unbelievable.
Oh, yes.
From day one, and I've known this cat 11, 12 years, and from day one, he has been one of the greatest people to deliver a promo to get a message across than anyone I've ever seen. And again, I've seen 1,000+ people come down the pike. And Nate, he took a little time off. You know, he had an injury. I don't know how much he spoke about or what he wants to speak about, but he had an injury at one time. And so he took about 5 years off. And when he came back, let me tell you, he did not sit at the table stuffing his face with chips, watching the television. Those entire every day, it seemed like every day, every night that he was not working in the wrestling business, he was still doing something wrestling related, which again, I tell all of my guys, all of my girls, anybody comes across him when he first came in, I told him the same thing. Do something wrestling related every day.
Yeah.
Every day. If you want to be successful in this business, if you want to be successful, you do something wrestling related every day and you become that person. You are that person. Whenever you're outside the house, you're that person. And I cannot think of anybody who personifies that better than Evil Nate. You know,
we'd love to have him on the podcast. Love to have him on the podcast. If you can bend his ear a little bit, we appreciate you.
I will call him, and usually Scott Diamond gets what he wants.
Exactly.
There's been very few times that I have not gotten what I've wanted. And I will give Nate a call and see what I can do, you know.
He's
because,
definitely
again,
talking to Johnny.
He's a great guy. He's one of those guys, again, that done his homework. He got out there, he sweat, he grind. You know, this cat lived in his damn car because of the love of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
That's dedication. Yeah. And it's hard pressed to see that in today's times. You know, he does stuff wrestling related every day. Adrian does stuff wrestling related every day. But when we talk about a guy that personifies that, you cannot talk about that without putting in Evil Nate. Again, from day one, his promos were above and beyond. And for a guy that will say, I'm homeless, I'm working, but I'm living in my car, but God damn it, I still got the fire for this wrestling thing. I admire that.
Yeah.
I admire that big time because, you know, for all those who have seen Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler, you know, I'm right there with Roddy Piper, you know. I love that movie because he portrayed exactly what I'm talking about right here, right now.
Yeah.
He went out and he lived, he breathed, he sweat, he lived in a van. He did everything that he had to do to survive, but the one thing that was always incorporated in whatever he did, whether it was living on the streets or whatever, was professional wrestling. And when I think about The Wrestler, I think about many people, and Nate is one of those guys. I could sit here all day and talk about him just by itself.
Anthony Presley says Nate went to California to live and was trained by Rikishi.
He did. He went out there. He trained with Keish. He trained with Gangrel, Funaki. He paid his dues. You know, nowadays a lot of these young cats, they come in and they think paying their dues is sharing a flyer on Facebook.
Yep.
That's BS. Let me tell you right off the bat. That is something that pisses me off to no end because I can tell you, when I came up, you got out, you handed out 10,000 flyers, not the promoter. If you were on that show, if you was learning in that class, you was out beating the streets, handing out flyers, standing over at Kroger's on Saturday instead of sleeping. You're standing over there promoting the shows that you're on. When you got to that show, you pulled the ring out of the truck. And let me just say this for those out there that still think wrestling is fake and the ring's got a big spring in there and it's padded and it's all that. I have always said this, Andy. If you think wrestling is fake and all that kind of garbage that you spit out and you don't believe the movie The Wrestler, then I welcome you not to get in there and let me body slam you, not let you get in there and me give you a vertical suplex or drop the Diamond 5 on you. I implore you, if you think wrestling is fake and anybody can do it and it's so easy, get in the ring and do nothing but run the ropes for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If you can run those ropes for 2 minutes, I'll let you have your opinion. I've never met a guy that could do it yet, or a girl that could do it yet that was not already conditioned in the sport of professional wrestling. And I'm telling you, as long as I've been in there, because, hell, I wrestled with Gotch and Ed the Strangler Lewis when I was coming up. You know, we're talking 106 years ago. But when you get these cats, they come in. If you can't run the ropes, how in the hell do you think you're going to go out there and wrestle a match?
Exactly.
And, again, I've seen big muscle-bound guys come in, weightlifters, track, cross-country runners and all this shit. And I have yet to see anybody be able just to run the ropes for 2 minutes.
Wow.
Exactly, yeah.
If you guys believe that ring has a big spring in the
soft.
middle, it's soft,
It's like a trampoline.
do not believe that. Go on the Nice Guy Andy podcast YouTube channel. You can see me and Fandito there with Tony Anthony Presley at New South Wrestling Crossroad, and we helped set up the ring so you can see what that ring's made of, and it's definitely not no
Steel
spring.
and wood, brother.
Steel and wood, and
with maybe a,
old school rules.
if we're lucky, a 1-inch thick pad. If we're lucky,
it's not even 1 inch. It's like maybe half inch. Yeah.
My
It's
right knee has some words for that. You know, I gotta say I'm not feeling too great from a match in July. So here we are, going on 3 months later, 4 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see how far that fakeness got me. I don't know where that crutch went.
I'll put it in there. I'll bring it back.
Touch my belongings one more time. We're gonna have
Well, you keep throwing empty water bottles at me.
You're going to need that crutch, Sean. I think is what he's trying to say.
You keep throwing empty water bottles at me.
He's
for no
gonna
reason.
shine that son bitch up, turn it sideways.
I have feelings.
Straight
man.
up your candy.
Really, I'm not done talking about Nate because maybe I want to mark out for just a second. You know, that guy is established. He is the guy that should be taped up on everybody's fridge still. Because, again, he is established, but he's out here and he's working hours into the night, and then he's going to the gym after the fact. And I've seen...
Oh, we're big fans of Nate.
I have seen muscular statues that are not chiseled and defined like he is.
And Dahlia Black, she is
she's got the same dedication.
Very impressive. She's broke both her ankles, I think.
Yes.
She's got big scars on her feet. She shows them on the Facebook.
She's in a wheelchair for 2 years.
In a wheelchair for 2 years, and the way she's on Facebook and Instagram, and she's so impressive. I love to have her on, both of them on at the same time. If
I'll
possible.
call them tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would love nothing more than to see the backwoods buzzsaw,
That's
the
right.
Kentucky Killer, and the urban legend, Evil Nate, right here on the podcast. I just butchered everything he said. He can do it a lot better. Don't believe me? Get him on here.
That's right.
I've seen his promos on Facebook. They're just outrageously
He
great.
said Dahlia was also trained by Rikishi. And Scott Anthony Presley, he goes, I have 2 completely replaced hips from the ring and the realness of the bumps and for the love of the business.
And while we're speaking of Anthony Presley too, I love to do this because it is something near and dear to my heart. Let's shout out, not only has Anthony Presley had a great wrestling career,
yes,
he was in the Navy and fought for this country. So, not because I'm a vet, but because I just think that these people, that they deserve this. When you go out and you put your life on the line and you write a check, all the way up to putting your life on the line, nothing but respect. And Anthony, when he got out of the Navy, he took all that discipline and stuff that he learned, and he turned it right into a great wrestling career.
Yeah.
Because with wrestling, you definitely have you have to have the discipline to push yourself to levels that you've never been to before, and Anthony does that. So great shout out. I love him to death. Great guy, great veteran in the military, and a great wrestling veteran.
I see Anthony's back in the gym too, so he's working out a little bit too. So I don't expect him to be back in the ring, but he's getting himself ready.
Never say never.
You never say never. A month or so ago, a couple of months ago, we were in here, and I told you some big things were getting ready to pop off. I couldn't let it loose at the moment.
Oh,
but
yeah,
you asked,
yeah.
can we bring it here to release that bomb? And we have done just that.
Oh wow, it's such a big bomb this last couple days.
Yes, it has.
We have.
This whole week has been nothing but bombs.
You, though, respect to that man right there. Undefeated. And he's going to stay undefeated because there ain't nobody that's going to beat Austin Diamond.
That's right. He's going to make Goldberg's record look like Girl Scout cookies.
He really is.
Yeah.
The man's already close to getting that 174 victories.
And Anthony Presley said, love you, my Marine brother, too. So,
hoorah.
Hoorah.
Fandino, it's like this. I am knocking people down faster than houses in Tampa right now, brother. Nobody is safe when it comes to Austin Diamond. God's gifted man, the shaman of superiority, and the guru of greatness. I am the apex of excellence, and I am every child's grandest aspiration. And everybody needs to take note of it right now because the clock ticks. And like I said, diamonds are forever, and I'm here to stay.
That's exactly right. He is the reflection of perfection, and he's going to carry on the Diamond legacy.
Guys, we've been on here 2 hours. You guys want to keep going, or y'all want to call it quits, or what?
Really?
You've been on here 2 hours. Yes,
when you get in here.
it does,
Yeah,
man.
that's
It's awesome because we get to sit here talking, and then
we enjoy hearing your stories.
Jerry,
I've got a million of them.
If I stay, do I get paid for another hour?
of course.
Of course.
I've got time.
He's like,
The
my
check is already in the mail.
I'm telling you, we love hearing the Diamond Cartel
that ain't what
stories.
you said earlier.
Especially Scott Diamond's over
Do we have
here.
time for this?
That ain't what your mama said.
No intermission? All right.
You ain't got no.
Yeah,
I'll put
let's
the pizza back
mention
down.
that
I thought we were
pizza.
going intermission. I'm sorry.
I mean, if you want us to do an intermission
That pizza's looking at me, that's all.
That pizza's been in that refrigerator for a week.
for a call.
At least.
It's been there longer than
Since
that.
since Enzo was in the studio, which
Yeah.
was a couple Saturdays ago.
Yeah.
It could probably, you guys might be a little too young for this, but it could probably give Lisa Douglas's pancakes a run for its money at this point then. Because if you remember Green Acres, the pancakes that she made, they used them for shingles.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
And so I would say that pizza's been in there so long that it could probably be used as a shingle as well.
Or a Frisbee.
And
Yeah. Just pray nobody gets hit with it.
for just a second, I'd like to cease being the prince of being pristine from the bottom of my heart. Once we get done here, we'll walk in here, and I want to give you a reel, whatever you want to call it, for your pages.
Okay.
Blow up, get famous. Austin Diamond, that's right, the realest guy in the room, will share a pizza with Enzo Amore live on Andy's podcast.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No. Let's build suspense. Not live.
Not
Taped
live.
on Andy's reels and reports.
But you have to watch to see it.
Exactly.
But you have
You
to
have
watch
to
the
watch.
podcast to
Tune
see
in.
it.
We also got something we want you both to try to open up. Well, maybe not you because you are a minor. I don't know if we.
But you got a can of whoop ass in there?
No,
Wow,
it's
probably.
Andrew Dew Browning. He's got that inhuman strength. I'm not gonna lie. He closed a jar of something, and for the life of me, I don't know how. Nobody's been able to get it open. Kyle Maggard hasn't. Jonathan Barnes last week tried to do it.
Baby Loaded tried.
Baby Loaded tried.
Bandito.
We've all tried it.
Kyle Maggard tried.
He
was like he was determined he couldn't get it off.
Yeah, he couldn't get it open.
Damn son, what y'all do to get this?
So
shit on
it's a bottle of it's in a mason jar. It's a Tennessee key lime pie moonshine, and I think a little bit of the key lime pie got around the rim, and it's the sugar. The sugar sealed it up, and it is stuck.
Yeah.
Well,
But as soon as we get that sumbitch open, we're gonna drink all of it.
I hate to say it, but fear not. Kyle Maggard's gone, and we've got a man in the studio now.
Oh!
I'll walk in here and open it.
There goes your winning streak.
Hey, Kyle Maggard.
Oh,
the man. He's gonna go.
Anthony Presley said, "Don't forget, Nate and Chance Prophet have developed a friendship and are now a tag team in New South. So in the next show,
Okay.
Now that again, I mean, let's just stop and
I
let
want
that,
Chance on this show too.
Let's wrap that around your head right now.
Yeah.
You're talking again. We just spoke about Nate, and I'll tell you how good he is. He was out for 10 months with this injury, and the very first match that he had coming back, thanks to Scott Diamond, and attest to his intestinal fortitude and how well that he works in the ring. He was off for 10 months with an injury. The very first match that he had coming back, once he signed Scott Diamond as his manager, was for the heavyweight championship. And let me tell you, after 10 months of being off, I worked it and I greased some palms. I got him a match. The man was off for 10 months, came in, did one match, and was the heavyweight champion.
Oh wow, okay.
That's how dedicated that he is. Now you talk about a man like Chance Prophet. Anybody that's been around Tennessee, Kentucky, in the tri-state area, they know Chance Prophet. He's been around a long time. He is an icon in this area. His work is second to none. So if you take Chance Prophet and you look down his accolades, again, they are so vast, we could talk about them all day. And when you take a guy like that and you put him with a guy like the Killbilly, where is there to go? Because championship titles, that would be too easy. Both of these gentlemen are a little bit sideways in their mind, let's say. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not knocking that because really, Scott Diamond's a little sideways in the mind too.
I think we all are a little bit.
But when
you
when you take two guys
speak for
like
yourself.
Chance Prophet and Evil Nate and you put them together, they don't have two brain cells together, but they are the most dangerous twosome that you're ever going to step to.
Oh shit!
That's right. Look at Evil Nate. Those masks. When he's got those masks on, he becomes another person.
I fear
When he gets that
for
mask taken off, he becomes Nate Hewitt.
Undefeated with the mask. Undefeated
yes,
with the mask.
yes.
And you know, I've heard, you know, way back when the masked superstar said this. The benefit to having a mask is nobody can see what you're going through. If I stand up and I punch Andy in the face and his eye swells up, we're going to see that. That is a little bit of a psychological advantage for anybody.
That's right.
But when you put that mask on, it's a whole nother person. It gives you a whole nother persona. And people say, oh, well, it's just a mask. Well, again, you know, sociology and psychology was my major. And when you have the mind game, it is very strong. The mind is the strongest muscle in the whole body. Mm-hmm. When you have the mind working, there's nothing you can do. And when someone puts on that mask like Evil Nate does, look, he becomes totally a different guy, like Fandito was saying. And it's hard to beat a guy that just goes out there and says, well, I'm not Nate. I am just this crazy guy that is going to stop at nothing. And that mask gives him that shot of adrenaline. Excuse me. And when you get that, it is, I mean, what is the word? Gosh, I mean, there's so much that does for you. The psychological advantage that you get when you put a mask on again, is
It's almost like the mask has its own personality.
It certainly does. And people that say, "Oh, it's just a mask." Well, again, I say go do your homework, look up psychology, and they'll tell you that split personality is a very, very, very real thing. It's very real. You know, the police department all across the world will tell you when somebody is on something or if somebody has an advantage such as a mask or they're on some type of alcohol or whatever, that is hard to deal with. You're not dealing with a normal person. So Fandito, I would never want to pick a fight with him because he's behind that mask, and maybe that mask gives him that extra oomph that he needs to take somebody out the same way that it has with Evil Nate. Undefeated with the mask on, and if it were me, I would leave that mask on the entire time because you got two guys against one guy as soon as he puts that mask on, and he instantly has the advantage.
Facts.
And Anthony Breslin said, we have 4 of the best monsters in wrestling. Evil Nate Hewitt, Chance Prophet, Misery, and the Zodiac.
Without a doubt. I agree 110%.
To talk about monsters, you know, everybody's bad until they're face to face with the Mothman. Then all of a sudden, it is a whole new beast. It is a whole new ball game. And you know, whether it's the Mothman, whether it's the alien, the questionable terrestrial, Sasquatch, it really doesn't matter because Evil Nate, just in and of himself, is an entity to not be reckoned with. Really, second to none. It's as simple as that.
I agree.
And you know,
I agree.
I guess to sum it up very well, very short, very sweet, he will very quickly show you why it's unlucky to take a wrong turn.
Amen.
Down in Kentucky.
Amen.
Right
Oh, I like it.
That's one of the reasons why
He's
I
the
love
Ed Gein of wrestling.
Ed
Hell
Gein.
yeah, he is. That
don't know
chainsaw,
who
when
Ed
he's got that chainsaw, there ain't nobody gonna be able to touch him.
4 people at home got that reference.
Hey, if they don't understand,
Yeah,
the
no,
reference,
no, nobody in this studio
then
got
they
that
ain't got no
reference
brain
except
cells.
you two, Son.
Well, you gentlemen may not, you know, I've been around a long time, so, you know, I know history because I lived it. But Ed Gein was a psychopath that one of the worst serial killers of all time.
Oh, my.
really was.
So I know Nate studies a lot of that. Scott Diamond studied torture for 20 years himself. But I did that because it helps you understand the mind. The mind, again, is a very powerful thing. And Ed Gein, of course, his mind was lost. And the Killbilly channels that. You know, he channels the Albert Fishes. He channels the Ed Geins. He channels the Charlie Mansons. When he puts that mask on, he's all of these guys rolled up into one. And how do you fight that? It's impossible. That's why he's undefeated with the mask.
You can't predict something unpredictable. And you know, Jake the Snake summed it up really well himself. He said, I used to carry a bag to the ring for years just to get my opponent thinking about the bag. And by the time they thought about what was in the bag, I had them in the bag. It was as simple as that. Nate goes to the ring with that saw. That saw alone will get a brother thinking. That's right. But to see that mask, that demented, skinned, fleshy mask will get a brother thinking really deep.
It really will.
And you know, sometimes I think the dangerous part about that is his opponent will forget what's under that mask.
Exactly.
The monster underneath of that mask.
And that's when they make a mistake, and that's when Nate rolls him up and gets the dude.
1, 2,
The
3.
chainsaw elbow drop is never far away.
That's
right.
right. And Nate's one of those guys that adapts to the mask.
He
When that
certainly
mask
does.
is on him, there ain't nobody that can touch him.
When Chance Prophet ripped that mask off at Crossfire, I thought, oh, God, there goes some of the thing. But once he got his hand on that mask, it's like Jake going for that bag with the snake in it.
That's exactly right.
Just flip the script right there. And then
And
just,
he also locked up with the referee, and he showed the referee his strength.
yeah,
The referee couldn't handle a chance to just scream, see, I told you.
exactly. Exactly.
Great guys. Can't say enough about those two guys.
Exactly.
Great guys.
They were
Bone
great
popping,
guys.
Face swapping, coolest creatures in New South Wrestling.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
So we've been on here 2 hours. I think we're going to call it a night, guys.
Right.
This is the point of the podcast where I let everybody say their last words. We're going to let Fandito go first. Go ahead, Fandito.
Well, Fandil got here late, but I just want to say thank you, Scott Diamond. Great man. Appreciate you, Austin Diamond. You're an awesome guy.
I hate you, Fandito.
Thank you, Fandito. Thank you very much. And thank you for the big donation you gave before the show.
You are welcome.
Was there a sperm bank here or what?
Whoa.
Sean, are you thirsty?
No, I'm not that thirsty.
Well,
Ouch.
you know, Sean Johns, go ahead.
All right. Fandito, even though.
That was good.
All right.
We're
All
all
right.
everybody's been messing with
Okay,
Sean $5 tonight.
I had that one coming. All right.
Go ahead, Sean Johns.
Fandito, thank you for showing up late. Hopefully you weren't too hard on Johnny downstairs. Scott Diamond, brother, it's always been
Thank you.
my pleasure to be in your presence.
Thank you.
Austin Diamond, it goes without saying, thank you for allowing me to be in your presence, be in your shadow.
How dare you sit here and play footsie with me and then not draw attention to it?
You said that if I mentioned it, you would charge me. So I'm broke. I don't want to be mentioned.
It's been brought to the table.
You brought it up, not me, sir.
Tell him, Sean, checks in the mail.
Checks in the mail, brother.
You know how to write a check?
Yes, I do.
It just makes
Remember, I'm almost 42 years old. I know how to write a check, my friend.
Holy Moses.
I mean, you could have fooled me.
That's hard to believe.
Shut
because
up,
I feel
Fandito.
like I watched him grow up, too.
That's
know,
right.
right?
You kind of have.
Yeah, I mean,
I had a few
15,
gray hairs
16,
when
yeah.
I first started seeing you at wrestling, and then I'm not blaming you for this by any means, but then now look at me.
I've had gray hair since I was 19, so.
I got gray hairs at 15, so I really don't want to hear that.
Exactly.
Everybody thanks it, and everybody watching in the comments, those that called in, stay nice.
Austin Diamond, you're up.
Elite Wrestling Alliance 1 on Instagram. Support not only great talent like myself, Scott Diamond, the nice guy Andy, Fandito, and nobody else, but also talent like Adrian Alexander and more to come. And beyond that, Austin_Diamonds_display on Instagram for myself. Austin Diamond on Facebook. Scott Diamond on Facebook. He's not smart enough to use Instagram. So check out Andy again. I know you're here. You want to see his face. I want to see his face. I hope to see more of him in the parking lot. Now, I'll generously give this over to Scott Diamond. Take it away.
You know, I'd just like to say that I've had an illustrious career. I am on my retirement tour. Projected date, January 21, the 11th annual Scott Diamond Bash. I will be retiring. I want to thank everybody, including you guys, for having us out because this has been a great year for me, and for a retirement tour, I couldn't ask for it to be any better. But the one thing that we all have in common are one love. Everybody get out and get involved. You know, if you love wrestling, instead of spending $1 million going to some of these big name products, and I don't want to say, you know, the names, but you guys know what's on Monday and so forth and so on. If you love wrestling, get out and support independent professional wrestling because that's where everybody starts. That's where everybody stops. If you're not out and enjoying and promoting and supporting independent pro wrestling, then maybe you should check and see if there's something else that you like better because it's not wrestling. We have some of the greatest talent that you'll ever see in independent pro wrestling, and we've got some great companies right here in the state of Kentucky even. You know, you're talking about the USWF. We're talking about the UCW. You know, Jimmy Walls and Terry England, they've got a great thing going on over there. And a guy that I brought in when he first started, you know, Henry Shaw, Allied Pro Wrestling, doing great things. Go check them out. You know, we're talking about New South. Right now, to me, that is the mecca of professional wrestling in the state of Kentucky right now. And coming up, another one that will be, and without a doubt, because when you got Scott Diamond in the background and you've got some great talent and great minds in the forefront, Elite Wrestling Alliance, folks, let me tell you, they are going to be something that is going to be reckoned with. I right here, I'm going to go on record as saying, I believe that they will be one of the best wrestling companies, especially for the younger crowd that we have seen in the state of Kentucky in a long time. And then to wrap that up, New South and the things that Anthony Presley is doing over there, I'm just grateful to be a part of that. And that also, to me, right now, that is the mecca of professional wrestling in the state of Kentucky. So get out, support independent professional wrestling, support people like Andy and his guys that are bringing professional wrestling out to the masses that are not able to be in the arenas. You know, life is such that we don't always get an opportunity to do some of the great things that we love. You know, you're out there and you're having to make money, you're having to support your families, and of course that comes first with most people, and it should. But they don't get an opportunity always to go out to the arenas because they're having to work to support their families and things. So people like Andy and his podcast and the other podcasts that we had spoke about earlier, when you have a media that is putting out professional wrestling and you can't make it to the arenas, get on these podcasts. You know, give a call up to Andy. Call the other places. Get involved, listening. Because if you sit there and listen and you love professional wrestling and you're not able to make it out, these guys are making it happen, and it's right there in your own home or your car, wherever you're at. So take advantage of that. And I appreciate guys like you, Andy, that bring our message to the forefront. You know, again, you, Sean, I've watched you grow up. I appreciate you out here pushing what I love, and that's professional wrestling. Fandito, brother, you're my hero. Keep doing your thing. You're doing it very well. You got the Scott Diamond seal of approval. Now I'm going to say this in closing. Folks, watch for the big explosion, Elite Wrestling Alliance, because my friend, Adrian Alexander, my student, my son, I'm telling you, he is going to be, along with Austin Diamond, two guys that are up and coming right now. They are going to be the hottest product that the state of Kentucky has ever seen, and they have produced some great wrestling in Kentucky. You know, we mentioned the Fargos earlier. We mentioned Kyle Maggart. We've mentioned Larry D and Generation Next. We've mentioned, you know, New South and Anthony Presley. There is a lot of great wrestling that came out of the state of Kentucky, and it's guys like these guys right here that get it out to you. So kudos to all you guys. Kudos to all these organizations that's bringing top-notch quality entertainment. And, you know, if you see Scott Diamond, you see Austin Diamond on the marquee, go lay your money down. Because anybody that's seen Scott Diamond either wrestle, either manage, or just be in the building, you know something is going to happen. Because Scott Diamond has always been the guy that changes the questions. Just to quote Roddy Piper, when you think you have all the answers, I change the questions. And I have done that my entire career. I have always brought the hydrogen bomb. And so if you see Scott Diamond or Austin Diamond on the marquee, you're going to see an explosion, and you're going to get your money's worth. Also, I want to put out there my good friend Freddie Cornell over in West Virginia. If you get over to Big Time Wrestling, Lord of the Rings, they put on one hell of a show as well, and they do a lot. Excuse me. And when I say a lot, they do a lot for their community, their churches. They bring in the adult handicapped guys and girls to enjoy themselves. They put back into their community so much. So if you're in West Virginia, go over and see Big Time Wrestling. If you're in the state of Kentucky, again, go out and see my friend Jimmy Walls, Terry England's program, Henry Shaw's Allied Pro, and definitely get yourself ready, because New South and Elite Wrestling Alliance is getting ready to light this area up. Thank you to everybody that ever supported Scott Diamond, and to the guys and gals I beat up and sent to the hospital. It's just a part of the game. It's business. It ain't personal. So I appreciate all the cards, the letters, the emails, and things. Everybody hitting me up about the retirement tour. It's still going on. Watch where you can see us, and come out and see us, because you're going to get your money's worth. And this will be your last opportunity, because in January, it's all over as far as Scott Diamond. I'm sliding into the back. So if you want to see Scott Diamond, if you need an autograph, you need a picture, or hell, you just want to see me beat somebody up, you got till January. So make it your business to get out. Anywhere that you see Scott Diamond and Austin Diamond on the marquee, get out, because you're going to enjoy it, I guarantee you. And thank you, Andy, for having us.
Well, thank you so much. It's hard to follow that. You've
the pleasure is all ours.
Touched on a lot of things that I was going to talk about, so I won't talk about them. I just want to shout out our sponsors, Royal X, for all your internet gaming needs. Check out Royal X. Tell them the Nice Guy Andy podcast sent you. I'd like to shout out New South Wrestling. I'd like to shout out Elite Wrestling Alliance. And check out, guys, if y'all are in the area in Cynthiana this weekend, go down to Bar Brawl 4. They got a good thing going on down there. Our guy Adrian Alexander is going to be down there taking on Kellen Craven, and he's definitely the person that's going to win that match.
Definitely going to win.
And guys, just support your local indie wrestling, and that's what we're doing here. And that's just what the game is about, just supporting your indie wrestling. And because these guys are getting out there, they're putting their blood, sweat, and tears into this, and buy some of their merchandise. Give them back some of that. Check out their Facebook pages. Check out their YouTube pages. Check out their just give them support. Like, support them as much as you can. Check out Bobby Blade's YouTube channel. He's been in this game for a long time, and he's putting out some quality stuff over there. Check out Bone Breaking Action on YouTube. Check out Dad World Order on YouTube. Check out
Evil Nate's YouTube.
Nate's YouTube. Check out
All About Wrestling Podcast.
All About Wrestling Podcast. Those guys are great. They've been supporting us for a long time now. We support them. Fandito's on their show a lot, so check those guys out. And I want to thank Austin Diamond. You are such a talent. I love your mic skills. You could be famous just announcing.
And for his age, he's already undefeated.
And already undefeated. And Scott Diamond, thank you for coming to the podcast again. And I'm sure this won't be the last time you'll be on the podcast. Or you, Austin. You guys are friends of mine and friends of ours.
Wendy.
And the boss is calling me, so let's see what the boss has to say. Hey. You're on the podcast.
Oh, well, hello.
Yeah, we're still on here. This is, you want to tell them about your business?
Sure. Today was a super mega day over at Royal Lex, and for all your gaming needs and want to win some money, get on over there and play. Doing lots of big things over there.
You want to say hi to Austin Diamond and Scott Diamond?
I've definitely been watching Austin and Scott tonight. They look amazing on the podcast. Everybody looks great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, everybody looks really good and sounds really good. You are doing amazing jobs, and I sent you off some stars. So
okay, awesome, thank you. So we're gonna wrap this thing up and get out of here, and hopefully you got some food for me there.
No, but maybe I might be able to get you them. But could you bring me some L8?
Well, we'll figure out something.
Bandito drank them all.
Bandito drunk everything, but we'll get you something.
Bandito, don't be drinking all the L8s. I might need some sometime.
You know, Wendy, if you're working in gaming, I would like to get with you guys and discuss something, because there was something that Tony and I were talking about the other evening that we may be able to put together.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Wendy?
We've been doing it for 3 years now.
Well, it's something that we had spoke about, and we want to check in a little more in depth, do our homework on, and I think you may be the young lady to help us with that.
Yeah, she definitely can.
Okay.
All right, Wendy,
Sounds
we'll get in touch with you. Thank you.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
And if I may,
no, you go ahead.
Just one more thing that I want to put out there. You know, I was watching last night, and so you guys had spoke along with Adrian about the transition. You know, Elite Wrestling Alliance at one time was Kentucky Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
And so he has liquidated that company and turning it into Elite Wrestling Alliance. And so I just wanted to touch on that for just a short moment, real quick, if I would. Again, you know, a lot of people have come to me, oh, Scott Diamond's an old man, he's retiring, he's this, he's that. And as I said before, I'm maybe not as quick as I used to be, but I'm still the same guy, and that is the guy that will go to Denny's and throw a guy in a dumpster in front of his girlfriend and kids and make them cry. And the same thing holds true when you talk about Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling. You know, Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling was very near and dear to my heart. You know,
yes,
I was there.
I could tell.
I was there and never, ever missed a show from day one when I took over the writing and the booking job over there. So I was at every event that KEPW ever had except for the first 3 because I was not on board yet. And so with that, you know, we were speaking again about last night about Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling being disbanded, if you will, and recycled as Elite Wrestling Alliance. And I just want to say that the reason that happened is because the big Doss man, Bobby Doss, you know, when you step in the face of Scott Diamond and you take him for granted and you don't do your homework, I don't care how big you are. The Doss man is a big guy. He's a very tough guy. I'm not taking anything away from him. When he's healthy, he can kick some ass. But the bottom line is he didn't have the demented mind that Scott Diamond has. So the reason that we're able to sit up here last night and tonight and talk about Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling flipping over and becoming the new Elite Wrestling Alliance, it's for one fact and one fact only. It's because Scott Diamond got in the ring with Bobby Doss a year and a half ago, and he cut me open. And when he cut me open, it was at that time that I said to myself, I am going to put this guy out of professional wrestling for good. And I've put many guys out of wrestling in the past years. But I know this is going to get him. It's like a burr under his saddle. Scott Diamond was the guy. The last time we all seen the Big Doss Man, he was out running his mouth. And what happened? Scott Diamond knocked him down, took a cinder block and a 12-pound sledgehammer, and I busted his knee. So I put Bobby Doss, the Big Doss Man, if you will, out of professional wrestling for good. He has to have surgery, which is up and coming. So he's going to have surgery on that leg. Hopefully he'll still be able to walk. It'll be with a limp, but he'll still be able to walk. But when you step to me and you take me for granted, that's what happens. Think about it. I took out the Big Doss Man. Not only did I take him out of professional wrestling, I put his leg into a position where it'd be disfigured for the rest of his life. And I took him out and hurt him so bad that not only could he not come back and wrestle ever again, his company had to fold because it had no leadership any longer. There was no man at the helm, and everybody knows Scott Diamond, he was the man at the helm anyway. But when I took out the Big Doss Man, I also took out his promotion, Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling. So if you think Scott Diamond is on his retirement tour because he's too old to do anything, don't take me for granted, because I took the Doss Man out of wrestling and I took Kentucky Elite into an oblivion. So when you have a chance again to step up to a guy that's been around a little while, do not take them for granted, because yourself may be put on the shelf for good, just like the Big Doss Man.
Exactly.
From 06 to 65 and into 2023, Diamonds are forever, and you're not rid of us yet.
Amen.
Thank you guys for coming, and we appreciate you. And we want to get some pictures with you. We got a new log book that we want you to sign.
I charge for autographs.
Okay, we'll make sure you get your pay, and we don't
Checks in the mail.
We don't skimp around here, and we're gonna get some nice, good pictures, and then try to get you guys to open the bottle. Stay nice, guys.
Stay nice, guy.
If you ain't having fun, you ain't getting none.
Skullface Records Radio.
I've said this before about you guys.